All right. Hello, everyone. Hold on. I got to make sure I mute my live stream because I always have it playing in the background. Wait a second. Okay, I muted it. All right. So, hello, everyone. My name is Morgan. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I don't know. Yes, today we are doing a Crohn's and Colitis Q&A. It is day 6 of Crohn's and Colitis Awareness Week, and I have been doing videos all week sharing my experience with Crohn's disease. And I'm here with my friend Barrett Laurie, who can go ahead and introduce himself. And yeah.
Cool. Good morning, everybody. My name is Barrett Laurie. I am by day a kidlit writer that is trying to break into traditional publishing. If you want to watch me fail at that, I do that over on my channel on the regular. Every second Thursday of the month, we do Critique Group Live, and I also host live stream author interviews. But I also have the Crohn's. So I do some videos on my Crohn's journey, my journey with chronic illness, and that is what brings me here today. I am so excited to be joining you for this. I love that you decided to do this. I've been so loving the videos. I think you're incredibly brave to do it because, you know, it's scary to come on and talk about our guts.
Yeah.
In front of everybody. But I love that you did it and you were willing to say, let's answer some questions and all the things.
Yay. Yeah. So I didn't get any questions from anybody like on my Instagram or anything.
I got two.
But that's fine.
We laughed last night that maybe asking people to ask us questions about our butts might have been a bridge too far.
Yeah. I mean, we're open. Whatever. There's nothing embarrassing anymore.
Exactly. You can't have Crohn's and have shame. They don't go together. It really, and that's like a real thing. Let me see if I can pull up the two questions I had because they were pretty good. Would you tell us first, Morgan, about your order of your videos that you did this week and how people can go and see them?
Yeah. So this week, let me pull up my playlist. But on the first day, I did just an overview of what inflammatory bowel disease is, which is the umbrella term for Crohn's and colitis.
Yep.
Let me see. Where's the playlist? Okay, here it is. Day 2, I did my Crohn's diagnosis story. And then the third day, I did writing with Crohn's disease. Day 4 was disordered eating and Crohn's disease. Day 5 was Crohn's about the body, so different ways that Crohn's can affect outside of your digestive tract.
How do the symptoms kind of manifest and side effects of the medicine? Because there's lots of fun side effects to the medicines too.
Yeah, I didn't even get into the side effects of the medicine. Honestly, I have not even read the side effects for Remicade in a while because I don't need that negativity. All the stuff that can happen with it. But it is like a medicine with a black box warning on it. Yes. So some scary type side effects.
There are some scary side effects. I unfortunately have had 2. So I will share the 2 that I struggle with that are my Remicade side effects. And they get worse and worse as the dosage increases and they get closer together. So yay. Yes. Well, let me read these 2 questions because I got 2. They're both from Robin and Joa. So they do a podcast. If you guys don't know, they're a bookish podcast. Robin and Joa save the world one book at a time. I did an interview with them. They're lovely. They're coming on my channel soon, but they both asked 2 good questions. What are the early symptoms of Crohn's? So I thought we'd answer this question by what were your early symptoms of Crohn's, and then I can talk about what mine were because I think they'll be a little different. But the point of that is to show they are always different. Like there is never just one. Like my cousin has Crohn's as well. He has a completely different kind, and his symptoms manifest completely differently than mine do. So it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
So, you want to go first and answer early symptoms?
Yes. So, and also mentioning the type of Crohn's. I have ileitis. So my Crohn's is in my ileum. Mm-hmm. And my early symptoms were definitely the weight loss.
Yep.
Not being able to eat any food without any kind of pain. So extreme abdominal pain with eating and without. Let's see. Fatigue, probably fever, and rectal bleeding or like bloody stools.
Yeah. And I have complex perianal Crohn's disease. There are 5 kinds. I cannot name them because I did not study that before 9 a.m. But I know the 2 that we have. But complex perianal Crohn's disease manifests itself in anal fistulas around the anus. It also manifests usually in the esophagus. So I also get ulcers in my throat, which are super painful and not fun. And so sometimes I get blood out both ends, which is lots of fun for everybody, especially my husband. But so mine manifested this way: fever for sure, because I had an infection. Because a fistula is an infection that starts in your intestinal tract and burrows a hole to the surface, usually around your anus, where it drains the infection because it's seeking to release from your body. So my first symptom was terrible pain, could not sit down, knew that I was having rectal bleeding, but had been told it was hemorrhoids, even though I had checked with some people to look for me. It was not. But anyway, they thought that's what it was. And then I had extreme weight loss, like up and down. So my weight over about a 10-year span would go up and down from 40 to 70 pound swings, depending on how I was feeling at the time. So I could see you in January and be 170 pounds, and then I could see you in June and be 205, which is around my normal weight. I'm 6'2". So that's how mine manifested: was fever, pain, couldn't sit down, bloody stool, and again, knew something was going on back there, but wasn't quite sure. And it wasn't until I saw my colorectal surgeon and she put me up on the table and she was like, definitely not a hemorrhoid. That is definitely a fistula. And you might have a second one coming in. And I was like, oh boy. And she was like, we need to treat this with surgery. That's the only way to fix this at this point. And she did not think I had Crohn's, because at the time I was at a healthy weight. We'll talk about this in a second, but all of my blood work was normal. Yeah, which is like a phrase that every person with, first of all, IBD, but I think just chronic illness in general.
Yeah, chronic illness.
Hates the, like, your blood work came back normal. And then, like, but did it? Like, so anyway.
Yeah.
But also major vitamin deficiencies. So really from my teens through my 30s, I would constantly have vitamin deficiencies whenever I would get blood work done. Usually it would be iron. So I was anemic, which I now know was internal bleeding. And then also I would be really, really low in D and other vitamins that you normally absorb from food that my body doesn't take that way. So yeah. Ta-da, that was mine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you want to ask the next question, or
let's do, is chat asking questions? Let's take some.
Yes, Bex has a lot of good questions.
God bless Bex.
Let's see.
A novel Nana.
Just want to say hello to Eva. Hello.
Morning. I was just talking to her.
Okay. Are there any foods that are difficult to absorb or process? Any that cause flares? Any foods to avoid? Lots.
First.
Okay, so for me, the things that I notice that are difficult for me to eat are definitely raw vegetables. I can't have corn of any kinds. Foods that are really greasy, so I don't eat a lot of fried things. And I think that's my main things. Yeah, I don't know of any foods that cause flares, just because I haven't, thankfully, had a flare in a while. Yeah. So I don't remember, because back when I was in a flare, everything hurt. So I don't really know. Yeah. And it kind of takes like an elimination diet, I think, to really figure out what is going to hurt and what's not.
100%. And it's kind of awful, the elimination side. So for me, it's very similar. I cannot eat raw vegetables unless they're blended. So I don't know if I was vegan for a very long time in my 20s. I don't know if that's because I'm in flare that is that way or not, because obviously I ate a lot of raw vegetables at different points in my life and it was fine. But at this point in my life, I cannot eat them unless they are blended, like Vitamix blended. And even then it has to be doses. Like I can't just go in and like throw in a blender of veg and eat it and not be laying on the couch like a bloat of pain. So that's not good for me. The certain spicy things, and I love spicy food. So like, you know, lot of my Indian food that I love, or Mexican food that I love, different things are problems. I have to do them and know there will be a price to be paid.
Right.
Like, when I'm going to eat it, but when
It's worth it.
yeah. So yeah. And then I would say excessive amounts of sugar. So, like, for example, at Christmas time, when my mom brings fudge and cookies and all the things, when I eat too much of it, oh yeah, there's some payback. So for me, it's sugar, mostly raw vegetables if I'm eating them, unless they're blended, and anything that's really hot on the spicy level, which I love. I love my habanero salsas and different things, but like, it doesn't love me back. So especially if I'm having throat ulcers, which I'm having now. So.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Her next question is, have you found any I don't know how to say this word, homeopathic
Yeah.
remedies that help as far as natural roots, teas, flowers, or herbs you have tried to help with the symptoms?
I have a lot of answers for this. How about you?
I have not. Yeah, like I haven't even really looked into anything like that, so I don't really have anything for that.
So my answer for this is interesting, because I'm not sure that it falls under helping me with the Crohn's or helping me deal with the side effects of my medicines, right? So for instance, ginger tea, I have to drink every single day when I take the immune suppressant pills, because I get so nauseous. Another thing, I live in Missouri where medicinal marijuana is legal. I use capsules that also help with my nausea when I take the meds, because if I throw up the immunosuppressants, I have to wait 3 hours and take all 8 pills again. So it's like, if I'm take them at noon and I throw up, then I have to wait 4 hours and be awful sick again from 4 to like midnight, essentially. So without those two things, honestly, taking the pills they've got me on right now would be, I couldn't do it. And I would not be able to maintain the weight I've kept now, which they have tried to keep me heavy throughout this flare, because they're like, normally you lose a bunch of weight. So they're trying to keep me up in weight, which, hey, I'm appreciative of that. But anyway, so those two things are technically homeopathic, and I rely on them heavily to get through my lunchtime when I have to take those meds. So yeah.
Awesome.
That's that. Definitely ginger tea. If you have not looked it up, if you have nausea from chemotherapy or from immunosuppressants, both of which usually you're on for Remicade, it was originally a chemotherapy for cancer. It was not effective in cancer, so it's now used in Crohn's disease. And the difference between chemo for cancer patients and for Crohn's patients is the distance between each cycle, and also the amount that's given. So most Crohn's patients are on maintenance level, which is every 8 weeks. That's FDA approved. FDA approved usage all the way up to monthly, which is what I'm on now. And then if they move me to every 2 weeks, I have to sign some documents with my doctor saying I acknowledge that I'm going outside of FDA approval. They'll have to put in a port. I could lose my hair. I'll see a lot of the side effects, I think, that folks on cancer chemotherapy would experience. And so what I would say about the homeopathic remedies is be honest with your doctor about the nausea and stuff, especially as they kick up your meds. If you get into like where I'm at, we're on a really heavy cycles and stuff, you've got to be honest, because keeping your weight up is really important. And being able to just take the meds is important. I was hospitalized in the beginning when they moved up my meds. I started getting sick. I couldn't eat. I couldn't take the meds. They put me in the hospital to give them to me intravenously. Not trying to do that again in the middle of a panini, people. Yeah. So that was just like an anxiety bubble for 7 days. Like, everybody that came in the room was like, do you have the thing? So, I was like, I don't want to do that again. So when I came out, I talked to my doctor and said, I have to figure out a solution to where I can take these pills, and they're awful. And that was when he was like, have you thought about medicinal marijuana? And I was like, no, but I'm not opposed to it. And then he was also like, are you opposed to homeopathic, teas and things to work for your nausea? And again, I said no. They also suggested ginger chews, a little too gingery for me, but the tea is cold. So any health food store is where I get it. So yeah, that's that. Sorry, that went on too long.
All right, next question. Were there any misdiagnoses before you were correctly diagnosed?
Tens and tens. You go first.
I mean, stress, depression, anorexia,
Bulimia. I had bulimia for a while because I was vomiting a lot, and
Mhm.
and they didn't believe that I was saying it was just happening.
Yeah.
I literally had a doctor that I left that day and never went back, who sat across from me and said, I just don't know of anybody who just throws up for no reason when they eat. If they're not like, are you sure
Like
you're not trying to?
getting sick, maybe?
And they're like, wait, so are you accusing me of sitting here and lying to you about this? Because
Yeah.
not today, Satan. I've been accused of trying to get meds
Yep.
for pain. Now, that only happened to me once, and it was very quickly rectified, which I think we've talked about in a comment, which we should mention here. We had very different experiences on access to pain meds, which I think has more to do with the melanin I'm lacking that you have. And that's kind of an issue that we should highlight.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely just like a lot of gaslighting from doctors telling you that you're not feeling anything and you're wrong, or you're making it up, or you're lying just to get meds, or I don't know, like why, I don't know why a person would come into the doctor's office and just lie that they're feeling pain, or that they're throwing up, or that they can't eat anything. Like, who comes in and just lies about that? But okay.
Did you ever get sent to a psychiatrist for the anorexia thing? Because I did too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the on-campus therapist or whatever. I only saw her once, and then I was like, I'm not coming back over here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Same. I had that same doctor who wasn't sure, sent me to a psychologist, and I went, and at the end, the psychologist was great. She was like, I don't think you have disordered eating. She's like, have you talked to your doctor about some of this gut stuff? And I was like, that's the bitch who sent me here. So, But anyway, well, it's a story for later in the show.
Yeah, so lots of misdiagnoses.
Lots of misdiagnoses. I had hemorrhoid. I had, again, disordered eating. I had hemorrhoid, not a fistula. I had stress. I had work stress. I had not eating correctly. And then all of my iron deficiencies, they wrote off as being vegan. So anemia, because I was anemic always since I was about 16. That was always just, I wasn't eating enough meat.
And then mine was just because, oh, well, you're a woman, so you have periods. So maybe that's just why you're iron deficient.
That's it. I didn't think about that, but that's actually probably a common thing for women with Crohn's, where that's something that's used to kind of sweep that away.
When was your last menstrual cycle? I think that's why your iron was low this time.
Well, something I want to bring up that you talked about in your video that hit me in the gut. At one point, you were down to what weight? What was your lowest weight?
76, and I'm 5'1". So that is.
I mean, talk to me about, it had to hurt to walk, right? I mean, it had to hurt to just move, just period.
Yeah, like every joint in my body hurt, every muscle. I mean, I was in a sorority. I was really active. I was in a sorority. I was volunteering. I was doing all these things, had all these events to go to. I had class to go to, walking on campus. So yeah, it was really hard, and working. So it was hard, moving, everything.
You mentioned your joints, and that's something I've had issues with that since I've started the medications that have been interesting. But can we talk about the joint swelling?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the reason I'm not wearing my rings. So sometimes you guys see me in my rings and sometimes you don't. It's because some days my body goes, we're going to put all the fluid in your body in your hands and ankles and feet. Yes. Like a 90-year-old man. And some days they don't. So I don't know. Crohn's is weird.
Yeah. I forgot another misdiagnosis was arthritis. Because
rheumatoid arthritis, they tried to say.
Because my knuckles like would swell like to like sausage length.
Out of my rings.
And it would be really painful.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you, Bex, for you poor thing asked all these questions and we're not staying on topic. Sorry, but you're welcome.
But yes, okay. Should we go on to the next one, or do you want to ask that one?
Yeah, let me get the second one from Robin and Joa. Sorry. So the second one from Robin and Joa, which I loved, which Bex already asked, was what foods do you always avoid? And you kind of answered that with corn, popcorn, and I said raw vegetables that aren't blended, and definitely sugar for me. But again, I don't think sugar impacts you the way it impacts me, because I didn't hear you mention it. So like that's not one that hits you, but it doesn't hit my cousin either, right?
Yeah.
So like weird how it's different things for all of us.
Yeah.
Okay. Those were my questions.
Okay.
Oh, Nana's killing it with the cues.
I know.
Oh, hey, Crow, good to see you. Yes, it is very hard to diagnose. And the thing about it, Crohn's is that there isn't a positive, or with cancer,
Right.
there's a positive, there's like a, you have it, right? They can tell in your blood work, and then they can tell with a tumor, a growth somewhere, right? Crohn's is different in that there isn't really a test. It's sort of a process of elimination. So it's like, oh, well, it's not rheumatoid arthritis for me, for example, but you're still having, bloody stool. Let's do a colonoscopy, and you're coughing up blood. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. Let's do an endoscopy. Like it's usually a scope of some sort that has to be done to check for perforations, fistulas, inflammation, strictures. I have a stricture right now. And that's when the inflammation happens on your intestines and it closes because of the inflammation. So that's a stricture. But again, it usually starts with a scope on one end or the other, or both. And then for me, always a CT scan and an MRI are always in my list of tests that we do about 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah, I don't have CT scans. Like they don't do those for me anymore.
Oh, they don't? Okay. They still do them for me. So
that helped to diagnose me: a CT, MRI, colonoscopy, endoscopy, all of those.
Do you? But now that you're in remission, do you do what, a colonoscopy about once a year? Is that kind of your standard?
It was once a year. Now my doctor moved me to every 2 years. So I guess that's good.
No, it's great.
As long as the medicine is working and everything. And then I have an MRI every year.
Yeah, because that's the other thing I would point out for those that don't live in the United States. Our healthcare system is a little different. So while I'm in Flair, I can guarantee you I will hit my deductible of about $2,500 in the first week of January every single year, because they do my colonoscopy the first week of January every year. And the moment I come out with that bill, I've hit the deductible. So from then on, I'm like, test me with all the things.
Yeah, I'll take all the tests.
Send me to everywhere.
I don't got to pay for it. It's fine.
Exactly. Okay, yes. Do you want to answer this one?
Yes. So with being on Remicade, I was on methotrexate too, but being on all the drugs that we're on, it makes you more susceptible to viruses and infection, because it lowers your immune system so that it doesn't attack your gut. So, yes.
Yeah. The only thing I would add to this is how I explain it to folks. So as we said, Remicade is a chemotherapy. It's meant to reduce your immune system. Methotrexate is another. Was that oral for you? Was that an oral?
No,
or did you
have to do a shot every week.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So I couldn't do that. So they put me on azathioprine, which is similar to methotrexate. And what it's for is usually it's given to people who have a organ donation, right? Because it's meant to tell your body, don't attack this new thing inside of it that's not supposed to be there. We are not technically an autoimmune disease, but we are an immune disease. And what that means is that our immune systems get into overdrive from something, they don't know what. I'm going to blame the world being unfair. But anyway, your body goes crazy and it attacks the tract from here to your anus somewhere. And when that happens, you take these pills that someone who gets a kidney or a liver transplanted takes to take your immune system back to zero, to try to reset it from attacking itself. Because basically our bodies go into fight or flight mode when we're in flare, and it says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to swell everything up from one end to the other. Yay. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot I wore my Crohn's tea for everyone.
Oh, yeah, me too. I wore this one.
Hey, oh, I love yours.
Yeah.
So can I ask you a question real quick? Would you tell us about your experience with Camp Oasis?
Yeah. So I volunteered at Camp Oasis, I think from, I want to say 2012, 2013, and 2014. 2015, I think I was too sick to go. But yeah, those 3 years. I heard about it from my doctor because I didn't even know that it existed.
I hadn't heard about it until you.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So she she recommended me to like talk to other people with Crohn's disease. So she was just telling me all about like the foundation and all of the different events and groups that there were. And she told me about Camp Oasis. So I decided to volunteer.
Yep.
And our chapter is in Missouri. So our camp is in Potosi. I think that's how you say it.
Yes.
Missouri.
Middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So yeah, it's at a little YMCA camp, and it was fun. It's a 5-day camp. All the kids there have Crohn's. Some of the counselors also had Crohn's, and yeah, it was just a week full of fun activities and stuff. And I got to, be in a cabin with I think like 10 other girls, and yeah, it was just a good time. I really enjoyed my time there.
I'm dying to get involved. I'm going to have to reach out to some folks and figure out how I can get involved as soon as I can get involved. Want to get involved because, again, when I heard about it, I thought, oh, that sounds right up my alley. I'm going to really quick say hey to Tiffany. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. And I wanted to, while we're talking about this, we're going to talk a little bit about fundraiser as we go. Morgan has a link in the description box to where you can donate there. We've both been running fundraisers on our other social media channels. I know I've done one on Facebook and Instagram. I think you have done the same. So here's what I'm going to throw out there for anybody. First of all, Bex gave. I so appreciate you giving, Bex. The amount does not matter. All I care about is giving anything, whatever you can give. So yes, so my fundraiser on both of my channels will go for 30 days because that's what Instagram and Facebook allows. But here's the part, folks, I'm going to tell you. If you want to tell your peoples, anybody that you can guilt into giving money, my mama's given $1,000 to match whatever I raise. So I'm pretty sure I can get her to give $1,000 no matter what. But if I can get it close to that 1,000, we're giving 2,000, not 1,000. So go give to mine, Morgan's, or the link below. Let us know the amount so we can put it in there and I can get as much of Mama D's money out and out to the cronies as possible. That's what we're doing here today, friends. Yeah. So yeah, and the money is going to the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. They support Camp Oasis. There isn't a way that I could find to directly support Camp Oasis. Did you find a way that's like direct? Is that what your link is?
Yeah. So the link I have pinned, you like on their Crohn's and Colitis Foundation website, you can say what you want your money allocated to. So I did a fundraiser there, and it's going to Camp Oasis. So.
Yes, and thank you, Eva, for taking care of that.
Yes, I was like, what?
Yeah. We have people knighted for a reason. Okay, what other questions did we have out there? Nana was asking a ton. She was on it.
Do all Crohn's patients have to have surgery?
Good question.
And I don't believe so.
Yeah.
Eventually, I think there's a statistic that says they'll eventually need surgery at some point.
Yes.
But not. I don't think all Crohn's patients have surgery.
Right.
I believe that it's more in ulcerative colitis than Crohn's because it's in the colon with UC. So they just take out the colon, and most times. So yeah, I haven't had surgery. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. And on the flip side of that, I have had surgeries for every fistula because you have to. It's the only way to heal them if you have Crohn's. And what they do is put in a butt earring, which is the best way to describe it. But it's just a tube that makes a circle just like an earring and allows the infection to drain out. Now, for my cousin who has Crohn's, similar kind as mine, different symptoms and things, he's had about 4 feet of his intestines removed and was able to get into remission before it got to colostomy bag. However, I am facing a stricture now that they estimate is about almost 20 inches long. So if they go in to remove it next year, they'll be removing about 3 feet of my intestines. And again, that's a slope towards a C bag, which, as Morgan said, is unusual for Crohn's. And I say unusual only because it impacts less than like a quarter, I think. However, it does happen. It just, again, it depends on which type of the 5 Crohn's you get, which just really means where it falls in your body is all those 5 types are. And some people have it present in more than one, as I do, because my stricture is in my ileum, where that's the only, that's new for me. That's something they were like, oh, look. And I was like, oh, good.
That's where my stricture is too.
Yeah. So anyway, and just to explain what the stricture feels like, when Morgan was describing pain, I used to describe it to my husband as like I'd eat something and I could feel it digesting like a cement truck.
Yes.
And I would say it felt like rocks turning in a cement truck, and that's what it feels like. And I would just have to lay down with heating pads and just like lay and roll and do the dance across our bed, and poor Ricky, bless him.
I would lay on a cold floor of my dorm room and just lay there.
Yep, 100%. 100%.
Let's see. And this is a yes. Does it make you less likely to absorb nutrients and vitamins? 100%.
And actually,
I'm deficient in everything.
Yeah, I can pull this up for you right now, Nana, because I just had my infusion and I just got the results in my chart this morning of what I'm deficient in. So I can read you like an example of what deficiencies look like. So test results, bada bing. So I am deficient in my CBC autodifferential, which I always am. Oh boy, I'm deficient in all of them this time. Yay. So, okay, I can answer it quickly. All 5 tests they took, I have an exclamation point of a problem. So I'm high or low and all kinds of things. Yeah, it's the typical stuff though. When I click in, it's anemia, creatine, glucose, sodium. It's the stuff that like my body just won't suck up out of the food. It just says, nope, not today.
What tests do they do for you every infusion? Because mine is just a CBC and a CMP.
So mine's a CBC, a comprehensive metabolic, a CRP, a differential auto, and an EGFR. And the EGFR they do for the study that I'm in. So 2 of these are for the studies I'm in with WashU. So I'm in one study that is a stool sample study that I do every so often. They send me money for it, which is like, I pooed in a Cool Whip cup and you guys sent me $75. Go. And the other one I'm in, I track my food. So I have a diary that every single day I track everything I eat and drink and my sleep patterns. And then I connect my watch to it, my Apple Watch, and or Fitbit, whatever you have. They're trying to suck up your data about sleep and food patterns to try and see. They don't actually tell you what they're studying. They just say you're a part of the study, but that's what they're asking me for. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, but the poo one is definitely about what nutrients are absorbed in vitamins. Like that's what that's all about.
And then I said hello in the comments, but hello, Courtney.
Courtney, good to see you.
Are there any breakthroughs in medicine on the horizon as of yet? I did hear, of a Crohn's, I don't want to call it a vaccine, but like a Crohn's, I don't know, like a shot or something. Yeah, I don't even know what it's supposed to do, but I know that they're working on it.
Yes, there is first of all, so fairly new as far as research. So, research is probably, a lot of the research I've looked at isn't more than like 35, 40 years old. That's like US studies. Now, other countries have been studying it longer. And other countries have actually put in a lot more money than we have into this. So a lot of the money in the United States is privately funded and funded through pharmaceutical companies. If I give you my answer on this, it's capitalism is the devil. But a big part of me wonders if when Remicade is $17,000 a hit every time you walk in, if there is some incentive in those same pharmaceutical companies that are required to give money for the research to not go ahead and do the research, because the medicines they create that are the only, by the way, Remicade is the only FDA fully approved medication for Crohn's. That's it. Even though you see Humira and all these others, technically they're on emergency order use. So they're not fully, because the studies aren't done yet. You have to do years of studies to get that full approval. So it makes me wonder, because other countries do have different options for treatment than we do. However, their pharmaceutical companies don't run the healthcare system. So
exactly.
I don't know. I wonder. I do think if there is a breakthrough, I don't think it'll come out of America.
No.
For what that's.
No, there's not enough money in it for America.
Agreed. And you know what? I get it. Like a lot of money goes to cancer, which yes, it should, and HIV/AIDS and different things, and that's great. But yes, I do think Crohn's kind of falls down.
Yeah.
I wish so, Nana. I wish. Fingers crossed.
Let's see. Is Crohn's hereditary? There's some evidence to say so, I think.
Yes. Yes, I have every cousin in so both of my grandparents on my maternal side had colon cancer. My grandfather on my dad's side had colon cancer, and I have a cousin in every single branch of my mom's family that has IBD or Crohn's. Period. So it's going to be hard pressed to tell me it's not hereditary.
I don't have anyone.
Oh, you don't?
I don't have anyone in my family that has. Well, I have was she my cousin? Like a second cousin, I think. My mom's cousin had stomach cancer. She died of stage 4 stomach cancer. That's the only stomach thing I know. I don't know my dad's side of the family at all. Like, so there could be stuff over there.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay.
But nobody that I know has any kind of bowel issues. So
I will make the note that anyone that might have IBD or Crohn's, you are at an increased risk for colon cancer. Yes. And it is something you will need to watch and be careful of. I mean, your doctors are, as we said, you're going to do colonoscopy. It's pretty reg. So they're going to keep a good look on it. But we're at a very increased risk for Crohn's. And I saw Vex ask a question about diabetes. I have not seen the link to diabetes. I have seen the link to cancer. So there are links to colon cancer. There are links to cancers that develop in the intestinal tract. So there is a link there for sure. And then there are links to other immune diseases. But again, everything's so kind of new that I don't think there's been enough done to kind of to know what all the links might be.
Yeah.
And one more thing I'll say about this that's just a weird thing. I grew up in Jefferson City, Missouri. It's the capital of Missouri. We have an incredibly unusual high number of Crohn's people. So I graduated in a class of 600. I think there are 40 plus of us that have Crohn's. 2 died in the last year. One from complications from Crohn's and one from complications from the panini because of the medication for Crohn's. And I have had a couple of friends with my kind, which is the most deadly, die of it, of complications from Crohn's, which is usually from a fistula untreated, infection gets out of control, your body starts to shut down and organs start to shut down. But speaking of hereditary, there needs to be a study done on that area of the state because there is a huge number of us that all got sick. And it makes me wonder, we all drank the same milk, right? All of our schools in our area got the same milk. We would have gotten similar foods at school. So there's some link there to why that area is such a hotbed for a very, very rare disease. Less than 250,000 people are diagnosed every single year in the United States. So to have a large population that were all kids or younger people tells me something was going on in the school system. So external environmental factors somewhere.
Yeah, and that kind of feeds into this question. It's like a mix of environmental and genetic.
Yep.
And genetic predisposition.
Totally.
So we really don't know yet what causes Crohn's.
Right. Or what flips the switch. You know, my doctor described it kind of like shingles. And, you know, he's like, it's possible for people to have like the underlying of IBD and never have the flare, never have the thing. And then for some people, the switch flips and your body goes wild, you know?
Yeah, because pretty sure I had symptoms of Crohn's since I was 16 years old. Because it started off with the eye, like my eye would flip.
The starring.
The starring, scleritis, and they would just give me eye drops. And then I had no other symptoms but that for at least from 16 till 20 when I was diagnosed.
Yeah.
So what made my body go crazy? I don't know. Maybe it was being at college and stress. I don't know.
Could have been. I want to say good morning to Gary Thomas. I just saw you pop in chat. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning.
Thanks for popping in. But great question, Nana. We would both love to know. We both want the answer to that question ourselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Let's see what's next. My brother-in-law had 3 surgeries to remove portions of his intestine. Do we actually have intestines to spare, or do they have to shorten it and use grafts? It's pretty long. I think it's like
miles.
Yeah, it's pretty long. It's all just wrapped up in there.
It's long. I mean, granted, so here is what my doctor said to me about the surgery. He said, we're going to really fight for Remicade because he said, you're under 40, not for much longer, but bless him. He goes, you're under 40. And he said, I really don't like to start removing intestines before 40. He said, because he said, once we start that, it's a slope, right? It's going to keep going. And eventually you're going to end up on a sea bag. He said, I would much rather do that closer to 50 than I would closer to 40. Now, I did tell my doctor, I'm not scared of a sea bag. Like, that doesn't bother me. I'm cool with it. If it ends this nightmare at this point, at 27 months, I'm like, bring it. But that's kind of the idea there. I don't know about the grafts. What they've kind of explained to me, Bex, is just that they'll just cut off the section and they'll go a good amount on either side to try to reconnect healthy tissue back is the idea. Yeah. So, and I think it's laparoscopic. I mean, he kind of made it sound like, I mean, definitely there's there's long recovery after. However, he made it sound like it's gotten much better from when they used to like side to side cut, you know?
Oh, well, that's good. Because I haven't looked into surgery much because that hasn't been like on the table for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, like when I was imagining surgery, imagining like it being chopped open and pulling out all of my intestines.
He made it sound like now, I mean, he did say, he goes, it's minimally invasive. He said, but it's a major recovery, right? He's like, it's a major surgery, it's a major recovery. He's like, but it's minimally invasive, which to me nowadays always means laparoscopic because I don't know, that's been my experience, but I guess I'll get nervous about that when it's time.
And I say hello to Colin.
Clark. Good morning, my friend. So good to see you.
Who else did I miss coming in? I think that's it. Okay. Do you want to keep continuing with the questions, or do you want to talk about my videos, or I don't know?
Let's
I'm kind of unorganized.
Oh yeah, that's okay. Let's do some of your videos and just talk through your topics and then kind of share our stories on each. And then just for everybody, did you link your playlist in the description box for folks to know? Or is this one in your playlist for it?
This is in the playlist, and I also linked it in the description.
So, and I put my playlist down there too. So both of us have playlists about our videos, but the videos we'll talk about both will be in these playlists. So if you want to watch more about our butts, that's where we go. So tell us your videos. And really what I wanted to ask you live is about the process of sharing it, because I shared with you one of the scariest things I had was when I made the anal fistula video, which I have joked is now and it's not a joke, it's true. It's my most watched video. So it was the one I pained over the most about like, oh, I'm sharing this. Is it too much? And now, of course, 2,300 people have watched it. And you're like, oh, good. So talk to me about the decision to share.
Yeah. So I have been diagnosed for 11 years. And I have not really shared much of what that process was like or what I went through or anything. And I've pretty much been silent about it the whole time. I mean, unless you count the video I made on my other channel, but I only made like one and I took it down. So I don't know, like opening up is kind of just like where I am in my life right now. Cause I feel like I've been silent long enough. So the hardest video for me to make was my diagnosis story, because I don't want to say I had a lot of people to blame, but like I had a lot of people that I wanted to know that you hurt me in this instance. Not like, is that accurate?
Well, let me ask you some questions and see if I can get to where I think you're going. Would you tell us what was your biggest setback when you were in your flare before? What kept you from getting to the finish line? And then let's talk about that part a little bit, because I think in that is the people maybe you wanted to go, you hurt me. So let's.
Yeah. We'll talk. Okay. Like when I was first diagnosed, right? So I was in college. I was, not around my family or anything, and just around friends. And the thing that got to me, like I'm experiencing all of my symptoms. I'm really thin, like things are hard. And on the outside, like I'm trying to pretend like everything is fine.
Right.
But also on the outside, like even with an invisible illness, like I was visibly not well. And no one said anything. Like no one mentioned anything. No one did anything. So from the beginning, I felt super isolated and really alone in like the whole thing. So just even that part, and even like seeking help was hard because I thought that I was just making stuff up. Like, well, maybe especially with the doctors telling me that I was. So it just seemed like, well, maybe I'm just overreacting or whatever, and then continuing to hide. And then like what led to my flare in 2015 when I went off my medicine was, people's advice of like, you should try this, you should do this. Maybe if you prayed harder, this would happen. And listening to those things and like thinking, oh, well, maybe I'm a bad Christian. Maybe I'm not praying hard enough. Maybe I don't have enough faith. And believing those things and then making decisions that led me to my worst point.
I mean, almost death. I mean,
In almost death.
76 pounds, people. Like,
yeah, I couldn't eat anything. I was in the hospital.
Almost a feeding tube, which is down your nose and not fun. Sorry, I keep hijacking it, but I'm just driving home. Shitty time. It was a shitty time.
Yeah, I had an infection, had an abscess, like all of these things that I was still continuing to ignore because I was like, it'll get better, like, or it wasn't that big of a deal. So just like the continuing, like listening to other people and then not feeling like I had anybody to like see exactly what I was going through. So I don't know like why this year, but I think I've been on like a journey of like opening myself up and just saying what I want to say, especially like with the pandemic and everything, and then seeing people's true colors in a way. Like I can't stay silent anymore. So that is my decision for why I decided to. And I posted it on my Facebook page knowing one that the people that I was directing it towards weren't going to watch it anyway, because their caring about me is fake. And I wanted to kind of prove that and be like, it's not me. Because they always tried to say, oh, well, you're closed off and you're quiet, and maybe it's because you don't reach out to people. And it's like, okay, am I really the problem? Let me see. And again, like I said on that one post, nobody responded. Nobody said anything. No one's going to donate that I know in my life. like in my family, and like church people and family. No one's going to donate.
Other than my mom and sister, none of my family did. But I'll give you one more. My husband's family have never called to check in the last 2.5 years on me, have never called to check on Ricky, have never asked, like, are you guys okay?
Yeah.
So no, I would say the thing about that was the part that I really wanted to talk about is there is a part of this that feels really lonely.
Yes.
And there is a part where you think to yourself, am I just constantly complaining? If that's how you're doing and it's always bad, at what point do you start saying, I'm fine? And it's not true.
Exactly.
And then it becomes this cycle loop. And so, what I love about what you said is that's where I was. I just love that you got there a decade earlier, right? So it took me being in my late 30s to go, I don't give a flippin' anything what anybody thinks about me talking about this. And the reason I started talking about it was when I had my stuff and I couldn't figure out what it was. Is it a hemorrhoid? Is it all this crap? There was nowhere on YouTube that I could find of someone that was talking about fistulas, and not like showing me the surgery where I wanted to go, oh, I'm never doing that. But I mean, like actually a human telling you this is what happened to me. And so part of me thinks the more we talk about this stuff and explain what it's like, then maybe we can end some of the stigma. The other thing is I put IBD visible on the Instagram story I just did before we went live to drive people here. And the reason I like that hashtag so much is so much of this disease, I tell Ricky all the time, we feel invisible. Yes. And in a lot of ways, we feel erased by the people in our lives because, oh, he's sick, so they just stop inviting you. Yep. And I can count on one hand the number of friends who have stood by me through this and still call me. They know I can't come to their shower. I've missed now baby showers, weddings, a bunch of stuff in the last 2 years. And I can count on that hand, those people, and every single one of them, it wasn't a bunch of money, but they gave what they could. Every single one, because they are my ride or dies. You're going to find those too, Morgan. It's just a matter of, you'll get to the decade. I'll be one of them. Some of these people in this chat will be a few of them. But you find your tribe and you hold on to them tight, because those are the people that when they ask you, they really want to know, how are you doing? It's not the people that just want you to say, oh, I'm fine.
Exactly.
And that's really important, just to kind of let people know, is the IBD visible. That's what it's about. It's about, we become invisible, and people stop inviting you to things, and they stop including you in stuff, and they start assuming things about you. And there's a whole cycle, and then that creates anxiety for the person who's sick, because now you feel isolated, you feel alone, and you feel like there should be some shame attached to what's wrong with you. Because the moment you've talked to someone about, well, I'm having this anal fistula, and everybody gets a little nervous at the table. My poor husband is always sitting there like, here we go. But if we don't talk about it, then everybody kind of just assumes, oh, he's got a rough tummy, or, oh, he doesn't like certain food.
Like, no, it's serious.
I have one aunt, bless her heart, who goes, he can come this Christmas. My whole family's going to Phoenix to gather. My husband and I cannot go, obviously, because I'm terrified of all the things. But they're all going. My aunt, in her most sweet way, sent a message of, I'll make mashed potatoes. When I wanted to write back, it's not so much about the potatoes as the variant that could kill me on the trip that has me holding back. But I appreciate it, and I'm thinking to myself, what made her think mashed potatoes? Like, how did we get there? But then I thought it's because there are so, for her child, that's what works, right? And so you never come outside of your bubble to say, what's going on with you? How does it impact you? Kind of a thing. So anyway, IBD visible. If you know someone with IBD, continue to love them, continue to invite them, let them say no. It means a lot more for them to get the text inviting them than to just not hear from you and hop on Instagram and go, oh, everybody gathered for a thing I wasn't invited to. Cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. And then that's just like with any chronic illness. Like, people will forget that you exist, and because you always have problems, they're like, oh, well, let me just not ask her to come.
True.
And then they just forget you.
True. And this is the one where I may get in some trouble for saying this, but not that any one disease is worse than another, but I will say this about cancer. When you have cancer, people tend to hang with you through that journey because there's an end.
There's an end. Yep.
There's a point where they get to step off the ride and go, look, we did it. And we did that race together, and we raised that money together. And we did the thing. Yay. This ride never ends.
Never.
So that is the disconnect, I think. For the people that have an ongoing illness, it never stops. There is a part of us that worries we're sharing too much, and there's a part of other people that aren't comfortable hearing it. And I don't know. I choose to spend my time with the people that show up for me. I kind of spend less time with the people that don't. It's probably part of the reason I'm obsessed with community on this platform, is feeling so abandoned by my real one. And so a lot of my psychology can probably come apart in this stream.
Yeah, because seriously, like, reading like all of your comments and stuff, like it makes me cry every single time.
Same.
Because like I don't have that in this physical sense, and it's just,
I have a cousin who has the same thing, who has never returned my call about, hey, have you ever had an anal fistula? I literally looked back at the text the other day to see how long ago it was. It was in 2019.
Oh, wow.
No response. I'm just like, huh, okay.
Okay.
I kind of thought you'd get it. Guess not. You're in remission. Guess not.
Yeah.
So yeah. So no, I mean, I feel you on that because I'm sitting looking around going, I have relatives that have this and they haven't bothered to like, hey, how you doing? So yeah. But not my immediate. I should say that. My mother, my grandmother, my sister, amazing. Like, oh my gosh, would go through fire for me. But and then my aunts have asked. They just, bless them.
Okay, where should we go next?
I don't know. Oh, you just said stop relating to my life. I know. I know. Oh, thank you, Courtney.
Okay.
All of those.
Let's see. So many questions.
Good.
Okay, I don't know where I stopped. Let's see. I think here. Can IBS cause or lead to Crohn's?
No, they are different.
Yes.
So IBS is completely different than IBD, and they're totally different. IBS is gassy and some awful tummy issues and some real discomfort, but it usually passes. And there's some meds you can take to really control it and calm it down. IBD is just a big old pile of steam and poo.
Yeah, and inflammation is like the main difference. And IBS I think can be pretty much controlled with diet.
Yeah.
While IBD cannot. Maybe that's where people get confused. I don't know.
Well,
why we talk about it.
Named those. They could have given those a little bit more of a distinctive name, and it would have helped everybody else. Because I can't tell you how often I have somebody go, "Oh, I have IBS too," and I think not the
same. No, honey.
Yes.
Hard yes.
And I love nothing more, Nana, than when the doctor says to me, I really think you need to eliminate your stress. And I look back at him and I think it's a global panini that could kill me. And I'm trapped at home and can't work. But please tell me more about how I should eliminate my stress.
How do I eliminate that stress?
I'm thinking
throw out the TV, throw out the internet.
Oh, yeah, because and I'm going to go fight against the insurance. I said, let me make sure I've got this straight. So I'm going to get harassing calls from my insurance company for the next 4 months. I have to avoid them because you're handling that, which I appreciate. I'm going to get letters from them telling me they're denying my Remicade, so they're going to rack up a $50,000 or $60,000 medical bill they're going to send to me for about 4 or 5 months. But just let that stress go. No worries, you're fine.
Don't worry about it.
Cool. Yes, makes it much worse. So yes.
I was diagnosed at 20.
37. So probably should have been diagnosed a decade earlier. But again, I think I was moving too fast at the time to slow down. And I kept getting bad information. I kept getting, your blood work's normal. And it was hemorrhoid. And I was thinking, and this is going to be entirely too much information, but I'm giving it anyway. The thing and I'm going to tell this, I'm saying this because for gay folks. I kept getting that, well, you're gay, and so it's a hemorrhoid. And I kept saying, here's the thing, that isn't the way the sex is happening with me. So that isn't it. You know what I mean? So if you're out there and you're thinking to yourself, that whole hemorrhoid talk doesn't apply to me, then you need to push back because that is not a good enough answer. I had already, if you've done the Metamucil and your water and all the things, and they're still trying to say to you, well, it's because you're gay, but the gay doesn't go that way for you, then that isn't what it is, kids, and push back.
Push back on anything. They say, it's just this, or it's fine, or I can't find anything.
Right.
Well, you need to keep looking because something's going on.
We're not done here, and you don't just bleed for no reason.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yes.
Especially on, so all the weight I've gained, all of you have seen me fat. Most of this gain is a result of steroids. And the moment I started taking prednisone, I have retained every drop of anything I've put in my body and haven't lost it. Even though I've been on meds for a year. So
prednisone is fun.
Oh, it was horrible. For my joint, oh my gosh, it was awful. Oh, yeah.
Very.
No fun, Crow, at all. It's a crapshoot.
How is Crohn's made difficult, if at all, for you in your past or present relationships? That's a loaded question.
How about the marriage? Because for me, I can tell you for Ricky and I, it's been a lot. I mean, it's tested not our relationship, but our relationships with other people. And, our relationship is stronger than ever because of the things we've gone through together. But as far as how we look at the outside world and who we spend our time with, that's changed.
Yeah. For my marriage, we weren't married during the time that I was sick, like during a flare time.
Okay.
But like I have known him since 2014. So he was there during the 2015 flare.
Yeah.
So
he's seen it.
He's seen it. And kind of what made me, I guess, fall in love with him was like him caring about me, because we worked together, and he would make 2 lunches. Like he would bring me food like every single day. And it would be stuff that I could actually eat. So like he's seen me skinny, he's seen me decline, he's seen me in the hospital. So like he was there for that. And that's kind of what drew me to him, was him being there during that time. So like, yeah, I think it's either going to, depending on the person you're married to, it could either pull you away or it's going to bring you closer together.
Totally agree.
In past relationships, obviously that brought me farther away because I did not receive that support from that person that I was with, and they didn't understand.
Yeah.
So,
Here's what I would say. I think I first started having Crohn's symptoms in my teens. I didn't have any relationships in my 20s because of work. I traveled almost 250 to 300 days out of the year because every other year was an election cycle. So I wasn't home enough to have a relationship. In my 30s, I did. And I would agree with what Morgan said. That the previous 2 people I was with were not my people, including one of whom was a doctor who probably should have known I was having some, should have been able to point me in the right direction, but did not. However, I've gone back to him and he's helped get me in with the specialists I'm in with now. So, but what I would say about Ricky, I knew Ricky and have been friends with him for about a decade. And we got married before I was diagnosed. So we were married before then, and he watched that whole downward spiral of 2018 to 2019 of getting worse and worse and worse. It's made us stronger. There will be nothing we can't go through together. There's definitely nothing we can't talk about now. You don't know you're closest with your partner until they've been in your bum with a flashlight and been like, nope, doesn't look like a fistula this time. I mean, there's just no closer, guys. So, when you reach that level, you're like, honey, I've got a job for you. Or another fun job. So when you have fistulas and you get the butt earring, someone has to check it for the first week that it's put in. So every day after every shower, someone has to move it and touch it to see if it's hot for infection for a week. So anyway, you have no shame when it's over. You kind of, you get to where you love each other and you laugh about things like a flashlight next to the bed because you need it. So, that's what I would say. I would say for my husband, the most thing that's I think been the most eye-opening for him is just the step back of his family and how non-supportive they have been. And I think that's hit him. I was not surprised by that, but he has been just shocked and bamboozled by how little they care. And other than one sister-in-law who occasionally sends a message to kind of, I think, do the right thing. It's been crickets. So, and in fact, there was a point where his mom would magically fall and get hurt and go to the hospital every time I had a surgery, which was kind of fun. So that's a story for another day.
And then another thing I wanted to mention, I mentioned this in my diagnosis video, I think, because during my college time was when I got really down on myself because I was really sick. So I made a lot of bad decisions in regards to relationships. So I wasn't looking for the best people. So I had the worst people.
Well, I think so. I think part of me being drawn to bad people in the past was part of it, right? Being sick, and then choices were made where, well, these people are paying attention to me now. They weren't paying attention to me the way I should have been.
Yeah.
But same. I made some really bad choices in my 20s that I'm not proud of.
Yeah. Let's see. What are 3 things, respectively, that you wish others knew about your struggle?
Yeah, you go ahead. You go first.
That it's a constant daily struggle, and that remission does not equal a cure.
Right.
And that just because I'm okay now doesn't mean I'm actually okay, and doesn't mean that it can't change in a moment. And I guess that was 2. What was the third one? I don't know. I think that's it. Those are the big things I want people to know.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've hit the high notes of them. Number 1, don't forget the person sick.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that means, even when they're in remission, it's okay to say, how you feeling? How are things? Because like Morgan said, it's every day. And just because you're in remission doesn't mean you have bad days.
Exactly.
Right?
I still have symptoms. Like yesterday, I was in pain from after what I ate.
Yeah.
So,
right. And was that the day that you had the small plate and you didn't finish it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is, don't assume that when our weight is high or low, that is an invitation to talk to us about our weight, whether it's high or low.
Yes.
I say with people with chronic illness, apply the pregnancy rule. Do you want to be the person that asks someone if they're pregnant
Right.
when they're not? So don't. There's no reason to. And then last, I would say is, for the people that have Crohn's or IBD or UC, moving towards a major life change like a colostomy bag or something that really is life-changing that comes from having this disease, that's the time people need your support the most. When they're going through their own, will my friends want to hang out with me if I have this bag? And what if it leaks? And can I do lake things? Can I do pool? All the things that we wouldn't think about because it doesn't impact us right now. For someone getting ready to go through that, just be there for them. Send them a text. I'm thinking about you. What do you need? Yeah. If you're inviting them to something that might be sensitive for them, what can I do to make you more comfortable?
Yeah.
It's a simple question. And, if you're a good enough friend to the person, they'll be honest enough to answer it.
Mm-hmm.
Those would be mine. Thank you, Nana. You're killing it.
I know. Different your healthcare system sucks. Yes, it does.
100%. No argument.
There's a certain time of year where you have more or less flare-ups. I'm
still in one, so.
I mean, I'm always in the hospital in December.
Are you really?
Like
stress? If that's like a stressful time.
I mean, every time I've been in the hospital, it's been December. So I always seem to flare really badly, I guess, in November, December. Yeah. That's just what I've noticed. Yeah. And I think I already said hello to Tiffany, but hello.
We love you.
Transplants, I think just fecal transplants is the only thing I can think of, which is a poop transplant.
Yep. And I don't think it always works. So yeah. So no, unfortunately no. Because from what I know about intestines, once they're strictured, they're kind of done. And the amount of time that they're useful after someone dies is very small. So no, unfortunately.
No. Let's see. Does Crohn's have any side effects on the reproductive organs?
All you. I actually don't know. I actually have never looked. So because it's never been something I actually don't know.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't think so. But
I mean, let me throw out something. This isn't reproductive, but I have liver damage on the way to liver disease. That is a result of Crohn's. So it's a result of having been in a flare so long. And it's this upper ileum part that is strictured, has gone off and on. As my Remicade has gotten closer and closer together, it'll open back up. However, if it's strictured, it's gotten longer. And they believe that the scarring in the tissue I have on my liver is a result of the flare, that it's been in flare so long that my liver's in overdrive. And so, while I don't know about reproductive, I will tell you it definitely impacts other organs.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I did a video, I think that was yesterday's video, of how they can affect different parts of the body.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, like I haven't heard anything about reproductive organs, but I imagine it could.
Yeah.
I know there is I don't know if it's a subtype or just like a thing that can happen, vaginal Crohn's or like vaginal fistulas. For sure. So I kind of want to say yes. Let's not rule it out. Yeah. I don't think there's any, like, I don't know. Yeah, we'll just say that.
Yeah.
Let's see. What are the most common misconceptions people have about Crohn's?
That it's a poop disease.
Yes.
Poop disease. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more than poop.
More than poop.
Yeah.
I think that camp sounds wonderful. Since it's not spoken about much, it would be so important to have a group of people who understand. Yes.
Agreed. Especially for kids.
Yeah.
Because, kids can be mean. And, for these kids suffering from, I just want to lay out there. One of the things when my doctor finally did diagnose me with Crohn's and we had the talk, she asked me, she said, have you ever had anxiety due to needing to go to the bathroom? And I said, all the time. I said, my panic when I fly is, what if I have to go to the bathroom? And it's taken. Yeah. I've always had that fear of, I was like, it will be like Bridesmaids and I will be in the sink at the front of the plane going, it's a disease. I can't help it. Close the curtain. That is my ultimate fear. So for kids, I can't even imagine, right? It being in school, counting on a teacher to not punish you.
Yeah, or say, why do you have to go to the bathroom? You already went.
Exactly. That is a problem. So for kids to be able to have a safe space where that is not an issue. No one's going to ask if you had a slow morning or you couldn't be there, or you were tired, or 100. Yeah. So yes, Crow, 100. Yes.
It's so nice because they're just all supporting each other and they're taking their meds without shame, and yeah.
Love it.
It's awesome. Have there been any advancement within the medical field in the last 5 years that changed the game for patients? I don't think so.
Mostly biologics and biosimilars, and it's just more drugs. So
more drugs
cost a little less than Remicade, but not a lot. And they pretty much do a similar thing. So not really.
Not really. And sorry if it's already asked, was the diagnosis process like, did it take long for you all to get diagnosed, or doctor know straight away?
Have you kind of figured out the length of your diagnosis, like in time of what the length is? I don't remember if you said it in the video.
I don't think I know.
Right? It started for you, you think, about 16 with the styes and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So 25 you said, or 26?
Say that again.
And when was your diagnosis? 25 or 26?
20.
Oh, 20. So about 4 years. So you had 4 years of probably the answer to this question, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think I went to the doctor like in my teens, except for the eye stuff. And then, I mean, college was crazy stressful. So yeah, probably like 4 years. And then they just kind of tested for like thyroid, celiac. They really did dive deeper.
Same for me. Lupus, I got checked for lupus. I got checked for thyroid. All the same things. A celiac. They were sure it was celiac. Oh, I'm sure it's celiac. It's probably gluten. Have you tried gluten? Yeah. Oh, that was one thing I should have said. Please don't just make random suggestions.
Yeah. Have you tried yoga? Have you tried?
I've tried yoga. I've tried prayer. I've tried it all.
Yeah.
So yeah, but this isn't related to this question. And for me, probably a decade, and they definitely did not know straight away. I definitely started going to the doctor with problems in 2018. I was not officially diagnosed until March of 2020. And from the point that my fistula popped up was September of 2019, I couldn't even get in to see the surgeon to start fixing it until December, and that surgery didn't happen until January. So I couldn't drive a car or sit from the month of October 2019 until January. At all sit. So I have a standing desk so I could do something.
Yeah.
And sleeping. I would literally sleep 4 hours at a time because the pain would be so great that I would wake up. So
yeah,
it'd be an awful time. The difference between Morgan's situation and mine, which we talked about, this is a racial thing, I believe, and age, probably being a little older. Mm-hmm. Didn't get much pushback when I asked for pain meds. So they were happy to write me Percocet, and honestly wrote me scripts for anxiety. They were just writing me all kinds of things. Try this, try that, throw this.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, so the pain meds they gave me were heavy duty. However, they cause constipation. So it's a vicious cycle of you don't want constipation, but you don't want pain. But you need to be able to sleep. But only take this, it's like, nothing makes sense. It's a cocktail of cuckoo.
Yeah, definitely. Is Crohn's typically comorbid?
I mean,
comorbid disorder.
Here's what I think. If you include anxiety disorders or mental health issues, I would 150% say yes. I haven't met anybody with IBD or Crohn's that doesn't have some form of social anxiety that probably results from Crohn's. So if we include mental health in that, I would 100% say yes.
Yeah. And then like I mentioned with like the eating or like eating disorders.
Yes.
Because having Crohn's kind of causes that anxiety around food, which leads to.
And I wish we had someone on with us who is a mental health professional who could tell us if that counts as disordered eating. Like, because I feel like if I'm doing it to avoid the gravel truck feeling of digestion, then am I like, is it disordered? Is it disordered, or am I just avoiding pain? Or, you know what I mean by that? Like, I don't know.
Because there is a diagnosis called avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. Yes. So I think it falls under that because you're avoiding food and you're restricting, but I think it's for a different reason than like body image.
Right. Which is what I want to know. Like, does this count as that if it's not about looks, but how I feel or how I even perceived to feel, right? Because that's the other thing.
Pain, yes.
Totally. I mean, honestly, before I was diagnosed, when Ricky and I would go to a wedding the 2 years before, my biggest stress was the meal, like what we were going to have to choose to eat. And then the whole thing of like, well, they're just saying chicken. What else is on the plate? Like, you know what I mean? Like a whole anxiety of like, will it be potatoes? Will it be a carrot? Will it be cooked?
Yes.
Like,
yeah. And then just like appearing rude because if you go to somewhere and you're not eating, and it's just like, I can't eat that. I'm sorry.
Yes. Ricky's family, when the first few times I met him, kept giving me cheesecake. Oh, that's what I should have mentioned. Dairy. Ooh, dairy will do me naughty when I'm in flare. So anyway, his family's coming up with this try the cheesecake. Have you tried the cheesecake? Try the cheesecake. Have the cheesecake. You don't like Jan's famous cheesecake? Oh, well, sure, I'll have Jan's cheesecake. Who wants to clear out the bathroom for the rest of the afternoon? Does someone want to come in with me and hold my hands while I scream? Because that's where we're headed here. So there you go. Too much information, but you're welcome.
Can Crohn's resolve when I sow and or go dormant for any period of time?
Mine cannot. A fistula will kill you if you do not take care of it, because your body will continue to go into an infection, and at some point you will die of that infection. So no, for anyone with a fistula, the answer is no, you will die. So,
and I don't feel like it at all. No, because it will just continue.
Yeah, because ileum, I think you'd starve to death at some point.
Yeah, because the food's not going to go through.
So,
and then like I don't know if this is related to it, but I've been thinking of toxic megacolon. I don't know how that fits in to this. I feel like that would be an issue too if you didn't treat your Crohn's.
Correct.
So, all the people who are saying their Crohn's disappeared, I don't believe them.
Oh, and those people that pop in my comments in my Crohn's videos or in my Instagram, I have to move off right away because nope, got no time for that energy.
Let's see, why isn't there more awareness given to Crohn's? I don't know.
It's very, very, very rare. So, and I keep saying that, and to you guys, it looks like it's not rare because we're on AuthorTube, a very small niche, and here are two of us that have it. And there are actually a few more of us on here that have it, or at least have IBD. So it's rare. When you're talking about 200,000 cases a year, for example, we had 4.4 million cases of the Panini-causing virus, for example. So in a year, 200,000 looks like a drop in the bucket compared to that, or cancer, which is multi-million people each year. I mean, so I think it just gets lost in the shuffle. Although there are millions of drug commercials, I can't tell you how many friends say,
Exactly.
new
Oh, the Humira. Oh,
Crohn's or
Mental.
right. So, I mean, everybody seems to know about it through the commercials, but what they know is like so-and-so couldn't make the concert that day because her belly was upset, and so-and-so couldn't go on vacation because
You have moderate to severe Crohn's disease.
he always laughs and goes, "Oh, it's severe." I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Talk to your doctor about Humira.
Yeah, see if you can talk him into this drug.
First diagnosed relative, but the doctor suspected she had cancer. She had at least a decade before it was found.
That makes me furious.
Yeah. I wonder if she would have had diagnosis if she had utilized preventative care.
I don't know. I mean, I had done all the I'd done all the yearly checks and things, and so I don't know. Here's the thing: I don't know, because this is another thing I wonder. For me, at least in my teens and 20s, I didn't talk to my doctors about blood in my stool. I think it was just because I was young, and it was like, if it was embarrassing or it felt embarrassing, sort of. So it really wasn't until I was in my 20s that I was like, listen, this should not be happening.
Yeah.
So I often wonder how many young people maybe don't get the help they need, like I did, just thinking like, oh, this is some weird thing. I don't want to talk about it. So,
yeah.
No.
What is the survival rate for this disease?
Pretty high.
Yeah.
Pretty high. Of the 5, the one that tends to kill people is the one I have, because again, if it's untreated, it does kill people. Now, this is kind of, I've talked about this on my streams. Part of the reason I back off of Instagram when I back off is I get a lot of messages from people around the world who don't have access to healthcare. And I don't have, it breaks me mentally to be talking to someone from, some countries in Asia and different places where they don't have access to care. And they ask me, it's a fistula, what homeopathic can I do? And I'm sitting there thinking, first of all, I'm not a medical professional, so I can't give you that advice. Number 2, I know that if you don't get that fistula treated, there is only one way out of this, and it's death. And for me, that's just more than I can handle in my inbox pretty regularly. So that's what I'd say about the survival rate. It's very high, especially in industrialized countries with healthcare. However, if you live outside of those countries, it is a definite death sentence if you have a fistula. So there you go. Yeah. I know, right? Exactly. I'm trying, Eva. I'm trying.
This makes me think of the Aaron Brockovich documentary in Hinkley about the water supply.
Yes, I hope someone will do some kind of a deep dive on where I grew up about that.
Proximity to the river.
Right on the river. Jefferson City is right on the river. So we are on the Missouri River. Couldn't get closer. And we're not super far from Fulton is where the nuclear power plant is. I can't think of any refineries that were left in Jeff City. All they tended to do was be toxic laws against gay people. So it's all that comes out of Jeff City these days.
Okay. Let's see. Things that I suspect are digestive relative that I have not had diagnosis around. Started when I relocated south.
Interesting. That, I would be very curious to know what parts of this is something interesting. So this is kind of on this topic, but stick with me, Eva. This is going to be one of those around the mountain. We'll get to the point. So my doctor up here, Dr. Deepak, is an Indian immigrant to this country. And one of the things he told me right away is, he said the population of Indian immigrants to the United States that are coming down with Crohn's disease is huge. And I think it's interesting that it isn't as big of a problem in India in rural parts, but in urban parts where American food has made its way over, it's starting to become a thing. So that little conversation we had, that actually wasn't as long as I thought it would be. That conversation we had told me it is somehow related to food.
Yeah.
Because him just saying, that's what brought him to America. That's why he wanted to work here. He's like, this is the IBD capital of the world. And I'm sitting there thinking, is that something to be proud of? But anyway, that told me that there is some connection to environment that should be studied. and I'd be interested to know where, like around the country, where there are clusters of breakout.
Yeah, I think that's why people think like, well, just change your diet and then everything's fine. And it's like, no.
Like, my gut's already wrecked. It's too late.
It's too late.
Yes. Yes. See, that is exactly, there is something there.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but there's something there.
Negative connotations associated with Crohn's by the general public, any ignorance of assumptions.
I mean, I haven't run into any, but I've been in lockdown since I've been diagnosed. So,
I can't think of anything.
No, I will say I am much less embarrassed about like gas, for example. Now I say to my husband, it's a disease, and that's my response to when I'm having flatulence.
I think it was before the pandemic, and I was at work and I had an accident. I pooped all over myself at work. And I just told, I was working with my teacher lead, and I'm like, yeah, I got to go home and change. And he's like, oh, why? And he was like, oh, I pooped all over myself. So I'm just like, I'm not embarrassed.
Oh, no, same.
He's like, oh, okay.
This makes me think that long before being diagnosed, I had gotten sick, but I'd always had the urgency thing, right? Oop, gotta go. I mean, like, I gotta go. So I was sick, had the flu at home, had a real bad sneeze, and pooed myself. Well, I was so sick that I couldn't deal with it. So I just kind of took everything and put it in a bag and put it out on the balcony of my apartment. My sister lived with me at the time. We went home for Christmas the next 3 days, 4 days later, or whatever. And we get a call from her boyfriend who was over to let the dogs out. And he's like, you guys are not going to believe what someone did. And we're like, what? Like, I have forgotten all about this, right? So you're not going to believe it. I mean, it's a hate crime. Now he's sure it's a hate crime, by the way. He's like, I think it's because of the pride flag. I'm like, okay. So now we're like, oh, what'd they do? Spray paint the garage? What happened? He's like, someone threw a bag of shit on the deck. And I had to admit to everybody on the phone, not a hate crime.
That was me.
That was me pooping myself. So sorry about it, kids. So that was definitely not your question, Anna. But you're welcome.
It wasn't, but like any negative connotations doesn't faze us.
That's another thing, that I haven't met anybody with Crohn's that hasn't had a poo on themselves story somewhere. Like, it just happens. So,
and it was so unexpected. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh, okay. This is happening. What is one thing that irks you about reactions from others when they find out you have Crohn's?
I actually haven't had a bad one to the reaction of that yet. Have you?
No. Most people, like, they don't know what it means and they don't care to know. So, I mean, I'll info dump about Crohn's, but then I'll just be like, okay, and then just walk away. So I guess people not caring is something that irks me. But like, if you're gonna ask me, I'm gonna tell you. So
that was probably true. And what irks me probably is that there's not an easy way to explain it in the way that like you can cancer. Or something, right? Where at least that people are like, let's rally and I'll give you an example. My aunt and my mom's family had breast cancer earlier this year. Whole family, gets on a Zoom we throw a party. We got Ricky and I send her cards, and everybody's trying to like, give her support. Like, we haven't heard from her. Her son has Crohn's. Like, did we hear a peep over the last 2 years? Nope. Haven't heard from Lorna. So, but that's, again, I mean, I wouldn't have said she was the most caring or like decent human to begin with. But again, like, everybody understood cancer, right? Like, that was something you could wrap your brain around. So,
yeah. So like, just like with the support thing, like people will support cancer, but like you say you have anything else and they're just like, oh.
You're like, oh.
Okay.
Oh, it doesn't go away? I'm not going to stay interested very long.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's too long for me to pay attention.
Yeah.
Where do you find the best support for Crohn's? Online.
100%.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm going to say the AuthorTube community. I'm going to really quickly, again, if I think they're all hidden, or I made them so no one could see the donations or who donated what on either one. But here's what I'm going to say. Almost 90% of them were authors that I met on Author2 who gave what they could get. And you know what? I see you. I love you all. And I hope you all know I'd be there for you too. So, but yes, 100% online.
Yeah.
And definitely cronies, right? Yeah. Anybody who has it gets it.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's just a big thing. Is like, I think the importance of talking about this is so that other people can feel okay and safe to talk about whatever it is that they might be going through. Because I know there's a lot of chronically ill people on Author2,
yes,
for instance, that don't necessarily talk about it. Like, they don't have to, but if they wanted to, they could.
Yes.
And it's just nice to have a space that says you can talk about it.
Well, and the connections of people that when they found out I had Crohn's would reach out. I'll give an example of someone I don't think will mind me saying this, but story detective Robert Jones, for those of you that know Robert, has fibromyalgia. It's something I knew because I watched his content. But when I did the donation, he was one of the first people to give a donation and then come in my inbox and say, I completely understand what this is like. I have been locked down for 2 years too. I'm so sorry you're going through this. I'm in a prolonged flare as well. And we had a great dialogue back and forth that only opened up because I talked about it, or that it was out there, that then he was like, oh, wow, I can relate to that. And he and I will have a connection that's a little deeper and different than with others just because of that. Right? Because we understand each other. It's why I think Morgan and I get along, or pointed the wrong way. Morgan and I get along like cheese and crust, because we get it.
And it's just nice to have people who get it.
Totally.
Oh, let me say hello to Justin.
Hi, Justin.
I'm really behind in the comments, y'all.
I know. That's okay. I've been bad about Justin too.
At school, did you find the teachers or classmates were not sensitive to bathroom breaks? I wasn't. I mean, I guess I was in school, but I was in college. So
yeah, you could do what you wanted.
I could do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So.
If I was teaching college when I got sick. I can tell you right now, if I was diagnosed, I would have had a very different policy for my large classes. For my big lecture classes, I would have had a very different come and go policy. Based on my experience with this. So, but I will say from the younger people I've talked to with my Crohn's group here in St. Louis, it is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to talk to the school about it. Something their parents have to talk to the school about every grade.
I don't think schools are very good at either illness or disability at all.
No.
Because even because I worked with other autistic kids, and even just getting them to follow IEPs is difficult. And it's just like, they have this in place for a reason. You can't not let them do this.
Right. No, I agree. I would 100% agree with that. I even say, especially in our country, until we get some infrastructure money to spruce up some schools really weren't built for anybody with disabilities or special needs. They were really, a lot of them, at least in Missouri, were built way before the ADA was passed, or things like that. So so I'd say it depends, right? Here in St. Louis, a lot more money goes into our schools from tax dollars, so we have newer buildings. Out in rural Missouri, not the case. So I think it depends.
Definitely.
I'd actually worry to be a teamer. I can't imagine being a teacher with Crohn's. I mean, imagine being in a classroom of sixth graders and you got to go to the bathroom real quick. That would be a cool thing, right?
Kids watch the class.
the inmates are running the asylum at that point.
Right. Do nutritional shakes play a part in getting the proper nutrients? They should.
Yeah.
It's easier to consume rather than food. My problem with nutritional shakes is I have a real problem with texture and taste. So I can't get them down. So when I was really thin, I couldn't keep nutritional shakes down. I couldn't drink them. So that's why they were going to the feeding tube, because I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't drink it. I couldn't force myself to drink it.
Well, and similarly, I can drink it. Whether it will stay down. Is another thing. I do, and I've talked about this on my channel in the playlist that's down there. I have a video about what I eat in a day in Flare. So every day I do have a smoothie. It's the first thing I eat Now, it is all veg and fruit, and there's no dairy. There are a few little supplemental things in there that are powders for vitamins that I'm lacking and stuff. But what's interesting is they still give me infusions of vitamins and stuff when I'm at the infusion center, because I'm still always deficient. So it's like, even though I'm taking all of the things they tell me to take every day in the shake, it's still not like happening. So shakes. There are also, I should point this out, I have a bunch of them in my kitchen that are nasty, and I tried, they were terrible. They have several brands of Crohn's nutritional shakes that are made for people with IBD specifically. They taste like a poor man's Slim Fast. Like, it's just so can't write off. I think Kate's Farm was the name of one of them. Clearly not sponsored, because but yeah, Kate's Farm.
But yes, I should probably drink some more. You're not the problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Crow. Even when we told you we pooed ourselves.
What do you do to cope with the loneliness, the lack of energy, the fatigue, the stress, and the symptoms and stigmas of Crohn's?
Author tube.
Yeah. Yeah, and just talking about it. And I mean, that's what I've been doing lately.
Same.
For a while, I hadn't been dealing with the loneliness and lack of energy. Because before, I think I just kind of tried to ignore it.
Yeah.
And like pretend I was fine and pretend I wasn't lonely and just like keep going. So now I feel like I'm reaching out more and stuff.
I'm doing therapy now once a week. Really, really, really helped. Lack of energy is, I usually have to push through because if I nap, as Morgan and I have talked about on other streams, if I nap, I only wake up more tired than I started. So really, a nap is a fool's errand for me. Like, it just, if I'm taking a nap, I might as well just stay in bed. There's no
it's over.
No more being productive that day. And as far as the stress and symptoms, I really am in a bubble. You know, I live in a retirement community where everyone is over the age of 70, but us. We're the only people under that age. And for people who are like, you snuck into a retirement community, my mom owns the condo. She doesn't live in it yet. She's going to retire in a few years, but she bought it in preparation for retirement. My sister lived here through graduate school. And when I got sick and couldn't do stairs after my first 2 surgeries, my sister said, I'm done with graduate school. I'm going to move out. You guys move in here, which is what we did. And it kept us safe because everyone here isn't old, and everyone here is very, very cautious and careful and good about masks and distance and stuff, because we lost three neighbors in the last since I've been here. So again, in a lot of ways, it's protected us. So we're in a like hermetically sealed old people bubble, and I haven't ever been as happy. I'm in bed by 9. I'm up by 6. It's like best life ever. And I have a neighbor who is lovely, who wanders down every day, who has dementia and locks herself out. And so she comes and sits with me from about 7 to 8 every morning when her nurse gets here. And we sit and talk about all the things she can remember that day. Can't imagine a better day. I mean, Miss Applebaum is my favorite neighbor.
Do you find any lack of accommodations in work or school or restaurants for people with Crohn's? What accommodations do you wish were available?
A bathroom with a chase lounge and a TV.
Or even just like, bathroom, access to going to the bathroom for kids in school and stuff.
Definitely.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, what it makes me think of, there was a school in Jefferson City called Bel Air Elementary. I went there briefly. Bullying was terrible, so I didn't stay long. However, the school was built with a bathroom in each classroom that I think was originally meant for the teachers. Like, it's just a small, like, half bath. And there was a kid that we went to school with who I wonder now if it wasn't Crohn's or IBD, because I was too young to kind of track what it was. But that student always had access to that bathroom. And that was really cool. And there was never a question asked, and it was never, and also it wasn't something that they were picked on about because there wasn't made a big deal of, you know, it was just sort of there. So that would probably be the only thing I could think of, is an easily accessible bathroom and like in the classroom you're in, close kind of thing.
And then like with work, it's important to apply for FMLA
Oh, yes.
because again, disease could flare at any moment and you might have to be off of work.
Yes.
So
and your partners. My husband qualified for
yes.
FMLA after my surgery. So yes, to all of that.
Yeah, because when I was off of work for 7 months after I was in the hospital in 2015. So that kept my job for one and paid me through that time of disability. Wasn't much, but still, yeah. So that is important.
And oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, and I'll make this is a similar point, but you finish.
I was just gonna say, know your rights and under like the ADA. So if you are sick or you have a chronic illness, like know that you have certain rights that they can't discriminate against you because of your illness. So just remember that and just advocate for yourself.
Correct. And I actually took my previous employer here in St. Louis off of my LinkedIn because I had a couple of people from my Crohn's video go and say things on the university's Twitter because they misunderstood a video I had talked about leaving work. And for that very reason, speaking of, well, they couldn't fire you because you were sick. They did not fire me because I was sick. I was not a tenured professor. Academia works differently. So I was not a tenured professor. It was a private school and I was on a contract. So it was different than if I was an employee. And so I had the choice of whether I wanted to do FMLA and go that route. It would have been a little more difficult. There would have been more hoops to jump through because, again, I was not a full employee yet. But I made the choice to leave work. So I want to make that clear before some people get hot on Twitter and go after poor Webster University. So they did not push me out or anything or do anything shady. I chose to leave. So
yeah.
But yes, agree with 100% of all of that. So.
All right. And just wanted to say here, there is the link to the fundraiser.
Oh, yes.
It is pinned to the top of the chat. So if you are able, again, no pressure, but if you're able, the funds go towards Camp Oasis, which is the IBD, inflammatory bowel disease camp for kids. So
love it.
I wanted to throw that in there.
I'm going to say hi real quick because I saw her pop in. Hi, Margaret. We love you.
Right.
Not offensive at all, Nana. You couldn't offend me if you tried.
No.
At least not on this topic.
No.
I might offend you with my answer, but.
And thank you for this comment.
Yeah, 100.
Courtney says, yes, I have a chronic illness. And when I first started experiencing symptoms, it was so healing to watch YouTube videos from other human beings who knew what it felt like. Yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
Because coming from anybody else, it just makes you feel like you're an alien, like something's wrong with you, or
yeah. And these I'm sorry, all these doctor like panels where they talk about Crohn's and stuff. It is not like a book panel. Those are fun. Like I like watching some author up there talk about their book. Listening to doctors talk about Crohn's disease is like watching paint dry. You kind of sit there in the middle and go, I think I choose death. Like, if I have to listen to them talk about this, I'm just end it now.
Yeah. So please keep talking about this. We will.
We will.
Definitely.
We won't shut up about it.
No. Are there any annual marathons, walks, and runs? Yes. The video tomorrow is all about how you can get involved. I'm so proud I already have that recorded and ready to go. So yeah, there is, the ones I know of are Take Steps, which is like the walk, and there's also Team Challenge, which is like similar, but it's you train to do a challenge. So it's either like a 5K, you can train to do a marathon, a triathlon, whatever. And then I'm pretty sure they help you in that training. So they send people, it's a big group activity. So I tried to do it, I think in 2014. I ended up I wasn't able to finish doing it, but there's that. And that's all in the CCFA website. So that's linked down below. And then it'll be on my video tomorrow as well.
And Nana, I think they're kind of in a lot of big cities. Like St. Louis, we have 2 a year. There's one in the spring, and then there's one that just happened in October. So there's something that goes on in October, and one's for IBD and one's for Crohn's. And I have been sick since they've been like on my radar, so I haven't participated. But yeah, I would agree with Morgan. Check out the CCF, and you'll get all the which is Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, by the way, website, and you'll find all the information. Thank you for that.
Since you're both writers, would you ever consider writing a character with Crohn's? Yeah, I mean, that one's in the works.
He's doing it now. My next story will be about a kid with Crohn's. So the one I'm working on now is not, but the next story definitely will.
Yes. So this is in the works. Let's see. Thought I was done with this document. Realized I still haven't put in any crutch words.
Oh, Eva. I know. I'm sure. He's like, when are you done?
And thank you for all the questions.
Yes, no, Nana, thank you.
They're great questions.
Yeah. We were not prepared with any of our
any, so we're just going to be talking. So I love that you're asking so many questions. Yeah, 100%. Let's see. It's so odd and hard how friends disconnect for various different reasons. Mm-hmm.
True. And some things, I always try to remember that friendships are seasonal, right? And so people come in and out of our lives just like seasons. And so for some people, it's just that season of your life, they weren't going on that journey with you. But what I would say, and Gary, I'm sure you can relate to this because you understand mental health issues too. There is something about when you start talking about uncomfortable things where you notice people take a step back, right? And there's a difference, I think, between the just seasons of your life or you moved and so you don't see them anymore and you're not as close, or you don't work with them anymore so you're not as close or whatever. And I got sick and you kind of stopped talking to me kind of thing, right? Or you stopped like liking or commenting on any. This is the other one I love, and see if this has happened to you, Morgan. Anytime I share anything about like Ricky and I, or this is like on Facebook, so personal, not Instagram or anything like that, but personal on my Facebook. Anything about Ricky and I, our wedding or our life or whatever, like, love, comment, talk about Crohn's.
Yep.
At least half. A bunch of people scrolling right past that. Yep. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, oh, okay, I see you. Exactly. So that's what I would say. There's a difference there.
Yeah. Like with me posting my Crohn's stuff this week, nothing. But I post something like, oh, inspirational or a scripture or something going on.
A scripture, and boy, I got
scripture on there. And they're like, amen.
Hey, I'm going to get an amen at the end. I mean, that's maybe the trick. Maybe what we need to do is do our Crohn's stuff, like the post with like a scripture above it, and then be like, can I get an amen? And then maybe then we can do it. You know, we'll see.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean I won't eat cheese? No. So figure that one out for yourself. I don't know.
You gotta pick your battles. Do you want the cheese?
Yes. I occasionally love me some cheese. So what are you gonna do?
As a non-sufferer from this debilitating disease, what can I do to support those who have Crohn's, other than donating, which I have done? Can I do to help?
Honestly, what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're always a good friend to me. You always pick up the phone. You're always willing to step up and show up like this, ask questions, educate yourself, donate, all the things you've done. Exactly. Honestly, you could not, if someone couldn't donate and like, oh, I can't donate, it costs nothing to join a 5K, even walking, you know, and the organization will have already found sponsors for every step you take. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to go out and find someone to like sponsor you to raise money. So that's really one way to get involved that doesn't cost you anything, that is a physical thing you can do that will help. And then honestly, this sounds so silly, but what we said before, if you see a post, comment, like, you know, just acknowledge to the person that's sick, like, I see you.
Exactly. That is the biggest thing. Like not ignoring the person. And just like Barrett said, you being here and you commenting and you interacting and engaging is support. Like that is what we need. We need people to see us because again, felt invisible.
IBD visible. Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you to everybody who showed up today. Oh, Trixie's laughing, agreeing with Bear. Oh, thank you, Colin. Thanks for coming. Trixie has ulcerative colitis.
Okay.
Colin's partner. So, yeah. So, also has IBD.
That was like 40 minutes ago.
Oh, well.
I'm still behind on these comments.
He'll know on the replay. Was having Crohn's, and forgive me, the question, it was too personal or inappropriate. Affect intimacy. Oh, this is funny because we actually talked about this, and this isn't going to get deep, but I mean, I would say no one feels sexy when you're bleeding out your butt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it.
And then, like, with me, like, being, well, when I was thin, I did not feel attractive because I was literally like bones.
How about being 250 pounds for the first time in my life? Like the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man coming in, like,
yeah, just like, yeah. So definitely, just with the up and down of weight and then body image and symptoms, definitely affects intimacy.
And just pain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the other thing I think about is just like when you're in extreme pain.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm thinking about.
Yeah. Yes. Do you think we'll see a cure for Crohn's in our lifetime?
No.
I would hope so, but I don't think so.
I'm a realist, so no.
In a perfect world.
In a perfect world, yes. But yeah, I'm afraid I don't think so. I don't want to get my hopes up for it. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. The sign of true love. I think this was about
the flashlight. 100%.
Yeah.
It still works with the intimacy. Like there isn't a lot more intimacy than that. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Mm-hmm. So we're still very intimate. It's just there are times when you're just like, nope, not feeling it.
Yeah.
Which I also think is just marriage. So.
That was one of my questions. If Crohn's affect other organs, yeah.
Yes, it definitely can.
Finally finished and sent the feedback. Yay!
I knew you could. Now Isaac's like, good. We can start our day.
Thank you for answering. We're throwing so many questions at y'all.
Oh,
I'm loving it.
I love it.
For other Crohn's sufferers, could you offer one or more things you have found that either helped alleviate some of the pain or symptoms, or any hope you could offer that might help others?
I mean, managing pain is difficult because, you know, that depends on a lot of factors. You know, as far as what I would say to someone, it's not health related, but find your people. You need, I would say, 3 or 4 people that you can count on to just let know that you're having a bad day, or someone you can text and say it's not a good day, and just they'll let you vent. And sometimes it's not even that you need them to respond, or I don't need someone to respond.
Exactly.
It can just be, I'm sorry you're having a bad day.
Yeah.
I do this with Bex. I've done this with Eva. I've done this with different people before, where I'm like, I know we were supposed to do something today, but you know, it's not today. And sometimes I just need to say it sucks and gripe about it, and then, you know, go be in my feels and have someone say, hang in there, I'm thinking about you.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like, people will try to fix your problem. It's like, I just need you to listen. I don't need you to offer unsolicited advice. But yeah, I agree with what Barrett said. I would say that. And then as far as alleviating symptoms, because I was a bad patient, I would say, 1, find doctors who you can trust.
Yep.
And then
take your meds.
Do what they say to do. So find the doctor you can trust who was going to advocate for you and the best thing for you, and then listen to them. Right. Because I did not listen to my doctor. And I have a good doctor. He's been my doctor since I was diagnosed. But yeah, listen to the doctor.
100. And let me say this, for those that are in a position where money is the barrier. If you live in America, if money is the barrier, there's no shame in that. And again, reach out to your community, reach out to CCF. reach out to Remicade, infliximab, the company that makes infliximab directly, that makes azathioprine directly, methotrexate. All of them have programs for, because here is the thing: without those meds, you really are on a dangerous path that can lead to death. So you really do. It just is not something you can ignore. And I know that money is a barrier, and I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying, look for every avenue, because there has to be a way when you get this diagnosis. And I know life isn't fair, and I know that it isn't equal for every person, and I hate that, and it sucks. And I vote to change that every single cycle. Someday it'll work. I hope. Who knows? But I would say look for every avenue to get those meds paid for, because you got to do it. And they suck. I'm not going to say they don't suck. They suck. I didn't talk about this, the side effects. So real quick, I'm just going to tell you. So my Remicade side effects are terrible rashes. So I get about a week after infusion, I have one right now, but I get just a rash, and it's like hives, itchy all over. I have terrible headaches for about 3 or 4 days after infusion. They're like migraines, can't do the lights. The lights for Aphrodite's show pretty much ruined me last week, because I had them on for 4 hours the same day, and I had headaches for the next 3. So, it's headaches. And then the other side effect I get is the stupid joints thing that only happened since Remicade and stuff, like where just randomly I swell, which my ankle, if you can see my ankles, they don't even look like ankles. They look like chunkles at this point. They're like little chunks of fluid. So side effects, awful.
Okay, so I did just want to ask, we're approaching 2 hours.
Oof.
So do you have, I don't know how much longer you are available to go. I'm fine.
You're my only date all day. So we don't have to go like, I love Glory Writes the Blues, but I can do a 10-hour stream. But we can probably do like, I'm like, Glory's my girl to do like a stream. That is not me. But I can definitely go over a little bit to get through our questions.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. From what I've learned here, it sounds like the diagnosis is kind of like scleroderma. Since not enough people have it, doctors and people don't think of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Are there any commercials about Crohn's that irritate you?
All of them.
Or that you feel are misleading and downplaying the symptoms? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All of them. Just the fact that
it's all awful.
I guarantee someone's seen this. It's about a girl in a band. They're like driving around in a VW, and they're all on stage for their big concert, and she's nowhere to be found. And then she takes her Humira shot in the porta potty and pops on stage 5 minutes later and is ready to go. That ain't how it works.
No, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works. So I wish some of that was a little different. Also, like, and I have not taken Humira, so you'd have to answer this one for me, but the Humira commercials drive me insane, where it's like, back off, Crohn's, I'm going on vacation or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, but if you're in flare and you're not feeling well the day the vacation comes, when you took your shot isn't going to do a whole lot.
It's not. It's not a magic shot. It's not a juice. It's not. No.
So that one drives. Those Tremfya, Humira, I can name them all because I watched the commercials, and Ricky and I literally are like, that ain't true. That's not true. What is this? What are we watching? This girl does not have Crohn's, because to go from where she was to on stage in 4 minutes.
No. You know. Why didn't she take her Humira shot earlier? Why didn't she doing it right before
the or there's one where these 3 sisters, and they're like in Chicago, around Chicago. They're like, we're on vacation. We're having fun. I'm going to eat what I want. I'm going to have this pizza. And I'm like, okay, like I've been there. And then she's like, but I took my shot, so it's fine. Not how it works. Like,
nope.
Yeah, that's so. All of them is the answer.
All of them.
Hello.
Hello.
And thanks for popping in. I wonder. I wouldn't.
Yeah, wouldn't doubt it.
I right now live about 4 miles from Monsanto. It used to be Monsanto. Now it's Bayer. Not where they make stuff, but where they do all the science and headquarters work. So maybe that drifted over and got me. Who knows?
Yeah. Sorry if you already answered this. So besides needing to rush to the washroom with no warning, is there any first sign or red flag per se?
tell me if this happens to you. I can actually feel when I'm going to have one of those. Usually my first indication will be like a fatigue and like a tummy, what feels like a tummy ache starting. And then it just escalates fast. Anytime I have anything that feels like it could be tummy adjacent, I head to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because that's usually it. It's usually tired. I'm usually tired, so which is probably related to anemia and blood loss.
Mm-hmm.
And then the tired usually makes way to a tummy ache, and then the tummy ache is no matter how it ends, I'm gonna go there just in case.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's my pattern.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you, Crow.
Yes. Let's see. Have others taken pity on you when they learn when they learn you have Crohn's?
No.
No.
Usually it's honestly a misunderstanding of what it is. And I think the commercials have done a really bad job. Again, I think there's a misconception of what it is and how it works, and that you can just take a shot and it's better. You can still go on vacay, you can still have that meeting, you can still, eat that pizza. Like it
just downplays the severity of it. And
so
people just think it's no big deal. So there's no pity, there's no understanding. There's just kind of dismissal.
Yeah. So no, I wish.
Let's see. I have no excuse. I don't have Crohn's, but I love, and I have done myself.
See? Okay, Nana, now if you'd have put your undies in a bag and put them on the porch, then it would have been a weird connection of like, wow, we were in sync on that because it was very similar.
Peeing and pooping at the same time is awful. And that has happened.
Let's say also something.
Oh my gosh.
Understand.
Honestly, I'm just thinking of times in my childhood where this has happened to me. Maybe I've had Crohn's my whole entire life because I have had several instances.
Me too.
That I can think of.
Me too.
Childhood that I have, my bowels have not been.
Me too.
Great.
Me too.
Where do you draw your strength? For me, it's faith. So really like God, technically, because people don't understand unless they have it, or they're just understanding people.
Yeah.
So that's where.
And I'm going to say mine is not faith, but I don't begrudge anyone who that is, because I think that's important and I appreciate it. For me, I would say within. There is a thing within me that I don't understand, but it tells me to keep going and to get up, and that my purpose here on this earth, this rock, is to do my best to uplift other people and build community and build connections. And that keeps me going. The days I haven't felt good, which have been a lot the last week, knowing I get up and get on a live stream and I see you guys in chat, or I'm going to feed off of your energy in chat. That was what November was for me. I knew I was waiting for a big doctor appointment. They had kind of indicated it wasn't going to go the way I wanted it to go because I had done the MRI during Worldwide Write-A-thon. I was waiting on the results. I knew the cancer result was clear, which was great, but I knew something was coming. So in November, I put up those writing sprints every week, and I put them up because I needed you all, if I'm brutally honest.
Yeah, that too.
So you all.
Being like so active, like in October, November, essentially like has catapulted me into wanting to be more out there and more involved. Because I isolate because I think that I'm not, like, I shouldn't be talking about, I shouldn't express like how I feel because I'm complaining or nobody's going to care. So definitely from other people as well. And just, So.
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
Yes.
What stigma do you find is most attached?
The one that annoys me the most is that it can't be that bad. honestly, that really annoys me the most. The other one I'm going to throw out there. So I've talked a little bit about my husband's family. My husband's mother is a nurse. My husband's mother is a nurse that worked in an infusion center. She was the charge nurse at an infusion center. The fact that she has downplayed and told other people in his family that it's no big deal. Honestly, I think to myself often, oh boy, if she could just have one day in the world to just, and I can't think of a more worthy candidate than Karen. That's actually her name. So yeah, but yeah, that annoys me. The ignoring of it or downplaying of it really bothers me.
Yeah.
Because in fact, I did a video in my playlist. There's a video kind of like what Morgan did, where I made fun of all of the annoying things that people have said to me. And I did kind of a skit of each one of the ones that bothered me the most. I think there are 4 or 5. Go watch those. All of them are there. All the highlights.
I agree with that. Let's see. We already said hello, but just going to put it up here.
Love you, Margaret.
Does Crohn's make you more susceptible to things like heartburn or acid reflux? Yes.
Yes.
I have that.
Yes. I did a video about that. When they wondered if it was Crohn's or acid reflux, and it was Crohn's, and it was ulcers in my throat from Crohn's.
Yeah. I don't know if this is, I mean, I guess it's related. I have, what do you call it? GERD?
Yeah. GERD, gout, either. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have that. So I was on a lot of heartburn stuff in the beginning, and acid reflux things. Like, can't think of the name. Nexium, is that for heartburn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was on Nexium for a while. So,
okay.
Yeah. I think they stopped when I started Remicade for some reason. I don't know.
Probably just because of the inflammation, right? I mean, it just pretty much everything, 3 days or 4 days after Remicade's over for me, except for today with these joints, normally all of this swelling stuff will go away quickly. It makes me worry I've caught something this time because I've had a sore throat since I went, and I'm still swollen and things. I'm like, oh, please tell me I didn't catch a flu or something awful.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome, and thank you. Thank you for being here. We love you. It is. For me, it is.
Blood in your stool is really scary to talk about. Only had a test for my stools recently, and it was fine. Yeah.
Totally. And listen, and this is, and Gary was a good one to bring this up. It's so true among gay men. I mean, I wish I could tell you all the number of people that pop into my inbox with IBD stuff that are gay men who are asking about what they need to do or who they should talk to. And my answer is always the same. You need to find a doctor that is either gay or that is okay with gay folks, because you need to be real honest with them about your sex life and how that may or may not be impacting something like blood and stool or hemorrhoids, things like that. So, Ricky and I are lucky. We go to our family doctor here is gay, very understanding guy, love him. And there is not a thing I would not tell Dr. Poletsky, much to his chagrin. But I'm real open and honest. And they're family friends now. So he and his partner have become a big part. Actually, all of my doctors are that way. Maybe that's just a me thing. Maybe I just suck people into my orbit and don't let them. I don't know.
The energy drinks help, or are they a no-no people?
For me, they're a no-no.
Well, yeah, they don't help and they're no-no. But for me, it's because of anxiety. It'll send me over the roof. So, and my heart hurts when I drink them. So, no.
Yeah, same. I have coffee every day, 1 cup, because anymore and until these are under control, torture. So it's bad. So no, I have to no on those.
Yeah.
Red Bull gets no money from me.
Do you say in your experience that having Crohn's made you a better writer?
Yes, did a video about it.
Yeah. I don't know. Because I think I commented on your on that video, and I was like, I don't know how it's made me a better writer. Right. So I don't know. I still don't know.
The thesis I take away from why it made me better was the perseverance, right? I would say, and this goes for anybody with chronic illness, but there is a level of like perseverance and like keep going attitude that exists in all people with chronic illness or a disability or anything, any limiting thing. And that is necessary to be a writer, in my opinion. So that was more where I was trying to go with that video. I don't think I articulated that very well in the video, but that is where I was going with those 3 Ps. I know one of them was perseverance, but that is the main thing that has helped me is that. And then patience. You know, nothing teaches you patience like spending a day on the toilet. When you have patience, you don't get so in your head about, oh, this draft isn't done, or, oh, this thing, you know, you don't sweat the small stuff when you're pooing blood.
Yeah. And I think for me, I'm still like learning that because I spent so long like trying to downplay that I had problems, like that my illness was a problem. And I spent so many years like trying to keep going and pretend I'm okay and everything's fine and trying to be that other person or trying to be an able-bodied person that I'm not.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
It's very American. It's very, it's like celebrated here that you work through some sort of major adversity, right? I should have answered this differently. A question you asked above, what annoys me? I'll tell you something that annoys me. Nothing annoys me more than when some magazine or TV show highlights someone who is incredibly sick or going through something hugely intense and how they overcame it and did something.
Yeah.
That drives me nuts. Stop it. Stop doing that. Because for all the other people who can't do that day, we feel like shit.
Yep.
So stop doing that. And then this isn't anybody in the audience, but you know, to the media at large, please stop doing that. I love that someone was able to. I love that. I just wish you'd have, like, in the article dropped, by the way, this is 0.05% of all the people who have this can do this. The rest of you, don't hate yourself. You don't need to. This isn't the typical. So I wish we were doing that.
And I think that goes into how some people don't like the warrior, like chronic illness warrior type thing, or like inspiration, or you're so inspirational, or
toxic positivity.
Like,
that's the
I'm
one.
Just living my life. Like I'm just trying to survive. I'm not trying to be inspirational, or just because this person can do this thing doesn't mean everybody is going to operate on that level.
Right.
So yeah. Hope these questions aren't too offensive. And we said nope.
Offended me once.
Thank you.
Love you.
How long will the fundraiser be open? I don't think it'll close.
Yeah, the ones on my channels and the one on your Facebook, I think they're good for 30 days. So if you want to give to the one she has pinned for Camp Oasis, it's any time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You can or want. So yeah. Thank you, Lauren. Even thinking about it, I appreciate. Whether you actually do it or not really doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Just wanting to and showing the intention really is what matters to me, at least.
Yeah, and then you just being here again, your presence, your participation is enough, and we thank you for it.
We do.
Do you wish there was more representation in media of people dealing with Crohn's?
Yeah, this is a good question. I actually haven't really. I'm not sure. I know authors who have Crohn's. So Andrew Iliopoulos, who wrote The Fascinators and a few other books. He's also an editor for a Big Five. He has Crohn's disease. Actually, what's funny is I've had more authors reach out to me like him when I reviewed his book that tell me that. When they come on my Instagram, they'll message me and say, oh, by the way, I have Crohn's or IBD or whatever. So I wish there was more. Can you think of it? I'm trying to think of like a celebrity that I know that has Crohn's, and I can't, like, off the top of my head.
I can't off the top of my head, but I know there's a list. There was a list on Facebook.
Okay. I saw a football player recently in my Apple News had an article about like how they deal with, Crohn's and remain a professional athlete, which I don't even know how that's possible, but I'm like, good on you.
Yeah, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't. Yes, but the answer is yes, and definitely in books, and I think especially for kidlit, which is why I want to write that story, because I want kids to see themselves in the story. So yes, I want to see that part change.
Global Britain. I don't know any of these people.
Now that could be we're getting to be olds.
Like Beth Orton. Who's that?
Who?
Beth Orton?
That's not a celebrity. That's some lady down the street. I could have gotten her.
Dwight D. Eisenhower. I know him.
Oh, I know. Wait, really? President Eisenhower? Okay, all right, Ike. You did the highway system. I'm good with that.
Yeah. The rest of these people, I don't know who they are.
Yeah. So yes.
Oh, thank you,
Margaret Bernard. We appreciate you.
Are there any channels that you're aware of that also suffer with this disease we can pour some love and support into?
I mean, in the Crohn's space for sure, but like, do you mean an author tube? Or
yeah, the Crohn's, yes.
Crohn's, there's a lot, yeah, and yes, I could list off several. Yeah, and in some of my videos in my playlist, I list the channels that I talk about in different, including author tube channels in some of those videos. So, yes.
I can only think of the big ones that I know of. I don't know if,
Me too.
like Hannah Witten.
Yep. That was
she has UC.
Yep.
And then there's Maggie. She has IBD. Her channel is Let's Talk IBD. Well, she has Crohn's.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the only two I can think of.
Margaret's last comment is about Lindsay Puckett being really open about her chronic illness. I want to agree with that. And Lindsay Puckett has popped into 2 of my Crohn's videos.
Yeah.
Hasn't made it to my author tube, but she's made it. That's okay. I'm not mad about it. I'm glad to see you. But yeah, she has shown up for 2 of those and been very supportive of that. So 100% agree with Lindsay Puckett on chronic illness. But there are several. I mean, if anyone wants to see the author tubers with just chronic illness disability in general, check out Megan McCarthy's disability tag, chronic illness disability tag, and there's a mountain of us out there.
Yeah. Let's see. And then I said hello in the comments, but hello.
We're so glad we got to see you. Part of the Morning Magic Club.
I still relate to no one liking when I talk about my chronic illness.
I know. It's weird, right? It makes people uncomfortable. And
I don't understand why. Like, we're all living life here. And I think we should talk about more hard stuff so people don't feel isolated and alone.
I think a lot of it's people don't know what to say or do. In my family, we're fixers, right? And anybody who knows me is going to not be surprised by this. I'm always looking for a solution or a way to fix something. And I think it's natural for people to want to do that. And with chronic illness, that isn't an option. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there isn't a quick fix or like we can figure this out. And so I think for some people it's fatigue, right? Wow, you've been sick for so long. When is it over?
Right.
It's like, yeah, tell me about it. You should.
I'm the one living with it.
I know. You should live it. It's pretty fun. Or I think about my husband who, works with the public every day, comes home, takes off every item of clothing every day, puts it in the washer, washes and dries it, takes a shower, has a 40-minute ritual coming home every single day. Got the disease last year, the thing that we can't talk about. And I didn't get it because of the precautions we took and the things we did to make sure that was safe. When he travels for work, we have to sleep in different rooms for a number of days you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. People living with it, it's a lot.
Second, I'm gonna make Margaret a.
Oh, good. So she can drop a link.
Yeah. Add moderator. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just dropped the disability author tube chronic illness disability tag.
Thank you for doing that. Yeah, Megan McCarthy. If you guys aren't familiar, check out Megan's channel. She's a great author tuber, and I really appreciated that tag. You did it as well, didn't you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thought so. Yeah, it's a good tag if you haven't done it. It's also fun, easy content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any books or resources you would recommend to others that helped you with dealing with Crohn's? I'm still reading it right now. I think she wrote it last year, or it was published last year. It's called What Doesn't Kill You. And it's really good so far, I think. And what's her name? I think it's Tessa something. Tessa Miller.
Tessa Miller. I will have to add that. I have read nothing about Crohn's that isn't an article or academic about my specific kind. So mine won't be very fun or interesting. I came out of academia, so I like to kind of read the studies and stuff.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think anybody wants that kind of light reading. Yeah, so mine won't be fun. I should read that one. That sounds more interesting.
Yeah. And it's just about her experience.
Yeah.
So
that's something I would never do. Would you?
Write a book about my...
Yeah, like a memoir style about your journey with the illness?
I'm not opposed to it. I think I would.
I think it's the one thing I don't think I'll write. I think I'll share it in videos and stuff, but I don't see myself sitting down to write it. And I think it's because I don't want to live with it that long. Like I don't, the process of the writing it and editing it and revising it. Like I don't think I want to go through that, especially if I ever get to remission. I kind of want to forget this for a little while. Like,
yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Like right now where I sit, the answer would be probably not. So
yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, fictional, yes, but my story, no.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lots of love to you too. How's the best way to find a 5K in my area?
CCF, Crohn's and Colitis Foundation.
Yes, there's a link in my description to their website and all of the different events that they do.
There is a very big one in Maryland that's with Johns Hopkins University. A friend of mine from high school is a doctor at Johns Hopkins, and they do a huge 5K event every year. So I know you're in Maryland, so look for that.
Let's see. In chronic illness, being talked about is not going to gain sympathy, but support, knowledge, and a way to find remedies and maybe cures. Exactly.
Yes. Exactly. Or what works for some, right? Like some of the ideas I've had for what works for me is from stuff I've seen on YouTube. People are like, right. Hey, I tried this and it worked for me. I tried this and it worked for me. And it's like, oh, cool. Doesn't always work, but hey, it's worth a shot. So
yeah.
100%.
That's the thing that really bothers me about when people talk about illness or disability, people think that it's for attention or that it's for sympathy. And it's like, oh, you're faking, this is not. Oh my gosh, like the people who say that, who try to make all these like Reddit pages and things of like, oh, this person is faking their illness, this person is doing this. And it's like, what?
Sorry, is that a thing?
Yeah. There's so many people that talk about illness or talk about disability where people think that they're faking, and they have whole like servers, they have whole pages and videos devoted to saying this person's faking, this person's lying. And it's like,
what's the benefit? Like, I'm curious, like, I just would wonder, like, what would the benefit be? Why would someone?
I don't know.
That needs to be burned to the ground. I'm glad I didn't know about that. That makes me furious.
Yeah, because
the game.
I can't think of the example of the person. I can't think of the person who it was, but yeah,
not cool.
It's awful. Let's see. So that's where all these comments are coming from. Wondering how I was missing some.
Yeah, we were way behind.
Oh, yeah.
We're catching up.
I'm still like 30 minutes behind comments. Let's see. There's so many things that make us feel bad about ourselves. I'm thankful for people like you guys who build each other up. Yes.
Same, Margaret. You're a very important member of this club.
In a positive way. Self-worth, self-esteem, or in a positive way.
I had no idea how strong I was.
Yes, that is a good one. Yeah, like strength and resilience, and I guess recently learning that I am worth the fight.
Yes, that's the aha moment I've watched you have that I've loved, and why I jumped in your inbox and your comments when I saw you were doing this and saying, I'm so proud of you and way to go. Like, I love everything about this, because yes, the more people that talk, the better.
Yeah.
So yes, I've loved watching that journey for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's see. I love having those few friends where it's okay. I don't need advice. I just need to bitch time. Yeah.
Me too, Crow. Me too. Me too. And I try to be that friend to my friends, you know, say, listen, if you just need, I'm glad to listen. When you want me to pile on that bitch and talk about how awful they are, I'll do it. But I'll stay quiet until you want that.
That's unusual. I think
Yeah.
I had to go to doctors. Like,
Yep. Yep. We both, I mean, I know I went through 2 before I ended at my GI that I kept. You know, I went through 2 before I landed on the one that I kept. I had 2 that I thought, nope, not the vibe, not working. And one was in the same practice I'm in with Dr. Deepak. I just didn't jive with the other doctor. Like,
yeah.
you know, and Ricky was the one who was like, we're not staying with him.
I've had the same GI. Yeah, but like, I mean, I had different doctors at first, in the same hospital or in the same whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I've had my same doctor this whole time.
I mean, I'll never go with another. And same with colorectal. Dr. Smith, anyone who lives within enough driving distance of St. Louis, I have sent my own mother, grandmother, husband, anybody else I know to Dr. Smith. She is not only my friend, she is an incredible colorectal surgeon and somebody you can actually trust. I have 3 people from this channel, my channel, I'm not on mine, forgot, on my channel, who found me on Instagram, who live in the greater St. Louis area, one of whom is having surgery with her tomorrow, that I have sent to her. So Dr. Deepak and Dr. Smith, they are listed in all of my videos, all of their contact information. So, and I'm happy to, they now have gotten used to, if you say I sent you, they know.
Yeah, a good doctor is essential. What are the most significant changes in your life and your routine that has been life-changing for you?
Work, not being able to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just all of the constant maintenance that our bodies take, like doctor's appointments and procedures and just having to be so aware of yourself, like at all times.
All the time.
Like symptoms, anything that changes in your body, you have to Yeah.
And then the last one I'd say is financial. You really don't know how your financial health until you get to pay thousands of dollars in medical bills every year. That's when you learn like whether you had it together or not. So we're hanging on.
And then I feel like I was young when I was diagnosed, so I didn't know what life or routine was.
Yeah. Oh,
so it was just, everything was up in the air at that time.
Same.
What is something you wish you would have known when you were first diagnosed? Something you could offer help on for new sufferers? I wish doctors first would have taken the time to explain to me what my diagnosis was, because I did not know. Because I was diagnosed when I was first hospitalized, so I didn't have a doctor or anything. It was just like the emergency room doctor or the hospital doctors. And they really didn't say anything. They were just like, this is your diagnosis and this is the medicine you have to take. And then that's it. So I had to
figure it out on your own.
Figure it out. And my response was not to figure it out. It was just to ignore it. So, yeah.
And mine would just be to remember you're not going to hold on to everybody. You know, there's going to be a lot of people that fall out of your life, and that's okay. They weren't meant to be there. So scoot them on out, make room for the people that are meant to be there.
Yeah.
Biggest lesson I learned, and the one I wish someone had told me. I hung on to way too many people and put way too much energy into people that just weren't meant to stay in my orbit.
Yes, same.
Yeah.
Do you think Crohn's has made you a better person? Yes.
Yes. I'm much more understanding and patient.
Yeah. And I don't feel like I wouldn't be as sympathetic to like the chronic illness community or disability or any kind of difference that's not, quote normal.
Right.
So I wouldn't be as I am now. I wouldn't be the person that I am now, I don't think.
Honestly, and this is something I'll see if this happened to you. I'm not saying at all I was hostile, and I certainly never doubted the veracity of anyone's claims about being ill or what have you. But I definitely think I probably was one of the people who kept scrolling.
Yeah.
Sometimes, right? Not all the time. There are a couple friends that were my ride or dies that I'd always be there for them. But there were the ones I maybe didn't know as well, or I didn't know their diagnosis as well, or what it was, that I would think I don't really have more than a like to give. And it was mostly I didn't know what to say, which, now I look at completely differently and kick myself for that and think that was your opportunity to ask, or to say, how can I help? Or what do you need from me? Like, so I'm not begrudging anyone who has that reaction, because I probably was one of them too. And this probably changed it for me. So, yeah.
For those of us who don't suffer with this disease, what does an accurate representation of a day in life look like for both on a flare-up day and a non-flare-up day?
I haven't had a non-flare-up day yet, so that one's going to be all you. Yeah.
I don't know. Like it honestly depends. Because like most days I don't know how I'm going to wake up feeling. So is like, even if I have like a whole schedule planned, I could end up not feeling great or feeling really fatigued, or my stomach decides to have an issue that day. So it's honestly it's random. It's kind of up in the air.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't saying anything else. Go ahead.
Honestly, this is the reason I don't vlog. My days never look the same day to day. They often aren't pretty. And I truly live my day, and anyone who's had to talk to me or work with me on anything collaboration-wise in the middle of the day knows this. My entire day revolves around taking those pills at noon, because the rest of the day is determined upon whether I can keep them down or not, period. If I can't, I'm going to have to take them again, and I might as well stay in bed the rest of the day, because it's going to be nausea and awful, and there's no point in trying anything. And wouldn't that be a fun vlog? So it's honestly not pretty. And there are often I'll give an example of AuthorTube where this overflowed. The last time I was on Glory Writes the Blues stream, right before I went on, I had taken my meds. I had been fine. I'd eaten food. I felt fine. She always has kind of a pre-show backstage, which I was hanging out in. And right before we went live, the nausea hit. I had to turn my camera off, turned around, and threw up for a while, and then had to leave the stream at the bio break and go take the meds again, and then sit there and be live. Well, now I did excuse myself. She was great about it. It wasn't like she was mad or anything, but I did kind of explain, like, I'm just going to cut out early, and she was great about it. But that's an example of, like, you can have the best intentions for what's going to happen that day, and your body's just not going to play along. So
yeah.
Not pretty.
And on a flare day, that's a whole story.
Yeah, that's my whole life these days. Yeah. It's just, you don't know, day to day.
Let's see.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Read.
That's a hard question.
Read.
I gotta relax.
Yeah.
But yeah, YouTube, reading, laying in the bed, stuff like that.
Yeah. I used to say travel, but what's that?
Right.
Yeah, probably so. But yes, truly, I've collected them and won't let them go. Yes.
Well, I have not tried.
Yes. I don't know if it's medicinal for you guys in Kansas yet, is it? Have you guys approved it? Yeah, we just approved it over here. It's only been a year. So, but yes, oh my gosh, yes. I'm going to tell you, with the meds, the amount of the azathioprine. Have you ever taken that one? Have you ever had to take azathioprine? Okay. Did you ever have to take it like a large? What was your biggest dose? Like 8 a day?
Honestly, I don't even remember. It was a while ago.
Okay, well, right now I'm on 16 a day.
Oh, wow.
So I take 16 at noon, and it feels like I haven't drank in a number of years, but it feels like when you overdrink and like, you know how like you get that spinning feeling of like, oh, I'm gonna puke. It's like that without the spinning. So it's like everything's normal, and you have that feeling of like any second I'm gonna projectile vomit like The Exorcist, and it's like that every day. So yay! The thing about what the THC does, whether it's in an edible form, capsule form, however you ingest, is it allows my stomach. I've told people it doesn't really stop the nausea; it distracts me from the nausea. Like it moves my mind away from thinking about the thing, and also makes me hungry. So usually an hour or so after taking it, I will eat something. Now it's kind of like you, where Ricky will make me a sandwich and like give it to me, and I may eat half and then be like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah.
But then later in the evening, when all of that nausea has passed, if I have not thrown up, I can eat a real dinner. You know what I mean? I can eat a meal. I do not ever eat breakfast. So there is never food before the meds, or else I will throw up. So nothing but coffee and water until the meds, and then nothing until about an hour after. So pretty awful. Thank you for the question, Eva. But yes, it does.
Do you find there are negative biases by doctors when you are a gay man suffering from Crohn's?
Sure. This has not happened to me because, again, I was diagnosed under Dr. Piletsky, who's a very published, kind of famous gay author. He's one of the leaders on PrEP, which is a disease in the, or a pill in the gay community that's helping fight HIV/AIDS. So he's a big deal doctor. So no, not from him. However, yes, lots of gay men that have landed in my inbox on Instagram that watched that anal fistula video. Lots of them have horror stories of doctors, especially in the South. Family doctors in Mississippi, Alabama, not exactly helping folks. So yeah. Remission.
Yeah.
One word. This is like rapid fire. Remission.
I don't think I have a dream day. I don't know. That's a hard question.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that the way you talk about your husband, but my question is, do your other half support you or family if you aren't currently with someone? Yes.
100%. Ricky is my rock. I tease a lot and I joke a lot about what our relationship is like, because that's how we are. We tease one another. That's how we show affection and love. I'd be lost without him. And my family, my immediate family, absolutely. As we've discussed, extended family, no. But immediate family, my grandmother, my mom, my sister, and honestly, my aunts, my mom's sisters will check, on me once in a while and whatnot. But outside of that, no, it's pretty much crickets.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just went to donate and realized I need the card for that stupid code on the back.
No. I feel that often where I'm like, it's going to wait. Except for the American Express one that I have memorized. So go figure. Poor Ricky on that front.
I keep bouncing back and forth between thinking I'm just more aware of people with chronic illnesses now and thinking there's more or higher prevalence due to environmental factors.
I'm sort of with you on the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's probably a mixture of both. But I also definitely think there is some environmental stuff going on. 100%. Definitely with Crohn's. I don't even doubt it. We've talked about it earlier. A very large percentage from my hometown that are kids that were a few years older than me and younger. Each class has a huge number, way higher than what should be the average when you look at 200,000 people diagnosed in a country of 330 million. When each graduating class of 600 has 30 to 60 students that are all being diagnosed with IBD, something's going on there. Like, it's the milk, it's something. So,
yeah.
I know, right? Tell me about
it. Pete Davidson and Shannon Doherty.
I did not. Oh, you know what? I did know Shannon Doherty, but I forgot it because of her she's had terrible cancer situation the last couple of years. So yes, I did actually know Shannon Doherty, who I love from Charmed, even though I know she's probably a bitch. Yes, this was a comment I was commenting to you earlier. Yes, Lindsay's been amazing. So yes.
I know that I'm guilty of not knowing what to say, and I'll drop a like but not comment. Yeah.
Same. But the like is something, right? So I guess the point I was trying to make is yes with the not knowing what to say, but I would usually at least like or show them that I care, care button on Facebook, whatever. But like, when there are people that have chosen to not even do that. And it's usually when there's something attached of donate.
Yep.
Yeah, no matter how many boxes of Girl Scout cookies I've bought or weddings I've donated sent you gifts for your weddings, or I could go through about a dozen of those friends from high school and think, man, I have bought a lot of Girl Scout cookies, Boy Scout crap that I've never used. Don't even get me started on MLMs with I bought your face creams, your everything but LuLaRoe.
Your kids' school fundraisers, all of it.
All of it. But didn't see you there for me that day. So I don't know. There was a function, Ricky, I'm going to get off of this, but when you do a fundraiser, you can invite people to donate. And Ricky was so bitter. He was like, I think you should just go through and just start inviting the people that we've bought and done things for. And I was like, now see, what would I put in the invitation? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we only want 25% of what we spent on your wedding gift. Here's what it was. Like, I feel like that would be a little aggressive. So anyway, and this makes it sound like we care about the money. It's not. Yeah. I do know what you mean by this. And I think the like is plenty because it says to the creator, you're seeing me. You're not ignoring me. So I think we're fine, Crow.
Let's see. Not offering totally. And listening. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally.
Because not saying anything says more than you think it does.
Oh yeah. And sometimes it says so much because we're writers. So we can create a whole story arc.
Yeah, I just made a whole.
I have got a 4-book series of why you didn't show up. So yeah.
I swapped to condolences instead of just allowing my memories into the already established conversations. Yeah.
Yes. And virtual hug to Eva because I know she's having a tough time of the year. So
yeah.
After consent, of course.
Seem to swap listeners.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Makes me think of Brene Brown animation about the difference between sympathy and empathy.
I haven't seen this, but I love her. So I need to look that up and check that out because I have not seen it, but I want to. I do. Bless it, I do. Mostly because my mom hates it. I mean, thoroughly hated it. She was like, please call it anything else but that. I said, nope. Mostly because you hate it, I'm going with butt stuff. She goes, do you want to end up on Google every time someone types butt stuff, you pop up? And then I was like, yes.
Yeah. Take yourself on will be fine. Yeah.
Oh, are you really? Okay, Cecilia, I'm coming to check it out then and I'll be all over that. Like,
yeah.
Because I can't even tell you how many people tried it. And don't even get me started with the Herbalife folks and things. I had a lady trying to sell me some wraps. Wanted to sell me some wrap things around my body for $289 a wrap. And I was like, ma'am, if that wrap doesn't have some chicken and some mayo on it, I'm not interested. Like, no, thank you. The wrap. Bless.
Yeah. People on Reddit who are lusting after the attention.
I'm going to try to not go look at this because now I'm like morbidly curious, but yes, agreed. Gross. Oh, love you. I mean, 100%. You all know it's true. I'll be all fun and nice and games until someone messes with my peeps and the claws come out.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't even think it's a thing. You're pretty amazing. So,
hello, Nicole.
Hello.
Trying is more than you know. Yes.
100.
I can't stand how much I spend on medical bills and meds every year just to maintain myself. Right. Exactly.
Preach. And the deductible isn't all of it, right? Your meds aren't your deductible. Your co-pays aren't your deductible. So $7,000-8,000 a year is kind of our average right now, which is awesome. So
I have to see a lot of specialists. Got to check my skin. Got to check this.
dermatology. Oh yeah.
And then I also have osteopenia. So then I'm also in a reclassed as well. So that's another infusion medicine that I have to pay for.
Oh my God.
So yes, in the UK, since the Paralympics, every disabled person is now either an athlete or on welfare. So annoying stereotypes. Yeah.
This was probably to the way the media portrays. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, totally. And then yes, and it drives me nuts because it's like it's a spectrum. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Or the a scourge of the medical system. Mm-hmm.
No arguments there.
There's no excuse for a healthcare system's failures. I hate it for all of us so much. Fighting to survive, to exist without debilitating pain or discomfort. Yeah.
If I had a lighter, I'd be.
Yeah. I mean, because I didn't have insurance for a while. That's why I couldn't afford my meds.
It's our greatest fear.
I went off of them. So.
I mean, it's why we haven't, we were going to leave St. Louis. It's why we haven't left St. Louis. It's why we haven't bought another house. Because the money that from everything we liquidated when we moved here, we've held on to in case we lose insurance. We have to pay Cobra, and that's $2,000 a month. So we're sitting on a nice chunk of change that we could put in the economy to like buy a home or a car or stuff that we won't because of the system. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep, same.
For a woman, that highlights the trend of Americans delaying medical appointments. Gee, I wonder why. Yeah. Such a mystery.
Stop writing trend. It's like, just call it. Just call it what it is. Because they don't have access to care.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to bankrupt themselves.
Right. I love both your backgrounds, soothing with plants and that mint green. Yes. I picked this color intentionally because it's supposed to be like creative or yeah.
My husband calls it Tiffany blue. I love me some Adele. Listen, you guys, the vlog of me would be so stupid. It would be what? Me going to get coffee and my poo water, which is fiber powder and water. Then I sit down and work. Then you have gotta go to the bathroom. Well, so then the vlog is on the bathroom door for an hour with just the time lapse. And then I come out, make another cup of poo water. It's it's going to be an interesting vlog. You have no idea what you're missing.
Well, I can't vlog because I don't do much.
Like, what would I do?
I'm just I'm sitting in here, right. Laying in the bed.
Right.
Gonna go, maybe.
Right. I mean, I watch Lindsay's and I think like, well, maybe someday. And then I'm like, what would you show? Oh, relieved.
Yes.
100. Relieved. Open friendships like Morgan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I hadn't talked about it, then Eva wouldn't have known to be like, hey, have you heard of this author tuber who does thing? Like, so yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, we wouldn't have met if neither one of us were open about it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So totally, it's relieved. Always. Good answer.
Shannon.
Good to see you. Thank you for popping in. We just love you. That's very mutual. Oh my gosh, these two on karaoke, hilarious. Margaret did a karaoke stream and Shannon was on with her and they sang. It was so hard not to get on there. I was having a chronic illness night, so I couldn't, but I'm going to in the future. Yes.
He doesn't know tennis enough for what he comments, but he tries.
Tennis is so lame. I love that he loves tennis, you guys. I gotta show you guys this picture someday of him with the giant balls. His super homophobic father Ricky was the only person on the tennis team. All school, less than 40 kids in the graduating class, and so Ricky was the tennis team. So his dad paid for professional photos of him between two giant tennis balls, holding a tennis racket in the weirdest pose I've ever seen with a horrible 90s haircut. And it just brings me so much life. So I'll have to share that with all of you. He'll be grateful.
Thank you.
I know, right? Sorry, y'all.
I'm surprised I made it.
Oh, I don't even know how you did it every day. Don't know. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. No. Thank you, Shannon. And
Yeah.
you know what? We appreciate you. Thank you. Showing up, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Here's your opportunity to contribute to a great cause as worthy as Thin Men's fleece leggings for force equipment.
Yeah. 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 Oh.
But stuff Google's lead to Barrett's Crowned chats. That would be gold.
I know exactly what my mom dreamed of.
Branding about animation link.
Perfect.
Let's see. As you were both diagnosed in adulthood, I imagine if one was diagnosed as a child or teen, how difficult would it have been to participate in sports? Yeah, I imagine it would. I didn't participate in sports, but yeah, that would have been hard, I think.
I don't know. I honestly, what gives me more of the sweats is the travel. So like for choir or baseball or any of the stuff I did in school, through school, it would have been the bus ride that would have scared me the most.
Yeah.
Mostly because some of those buses had bathrooms on it, which also would have been a nightmare because you'd have been like, oh, good. I'm going to be the one to go and blow up this bathroom.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like, cool. Can't wait. Yeah.
Seaweed wraps.
Oh, listen, it was not seaweed. I wish I knew what it was. This lady tried it with me for quite a while. And I was like, ma'am, this is not a Wendy's. So we sent her packing.
Mother's diagnosis came while she had no insurance. She worked long hours at a wage higher than living, so she failed to qualify for assistance.
I mean, listen, I'm going to tell you something that's disgusted me, and this is Crohn's related. A friend of mine who, again, I met through this channel, who we're now friends on Instagram, she is in the process of applying for disability right now, and y'all, the financial hardship level she has to hit to qualify makes me furious.
Isn't it like $1,000 or?
Yeah, has to give up her car, has to liquidate her retirement assets, has to, I mean, stuff that's insane that
and if you're married too, like you don't qualify.
She will not get married because of that.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, that is messed up. That is not how it work. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, that makes me furious, Eva, for your mom, and our country has failed you.
Yes. Her diagnosis was stage 4 cancer. It spread to her lungs and the mass in her intestines was massive. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
This is an awful.
Bills. Not. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Completely.
Because they do not care.
Ooh. Oh, that photo. I keep threatening him it'll be our Christmas. Like, I'm just gonna send it out and be like, here's the Christmas card. In Southern Illinois. And then no one knew he was gay, y'all. Like, that's the part that I'm like, come on now. You're the only person on the tennis team with the voice of an angel. And, you're starring in the school plays and the top of the tennis team and no one knew. Please. Oh, it's gold. Oh, love it. Thanks for popping in. Oh, I don't know. I'll have to look that up. Margaret, that's an interesting song title. I don't know how I missed that.
Shannon says ACDC.
Oh, Shannon was on it. Okay. Oh, Shannon.
I finally reached the bottom of the chat.
We are, so that's a good wrap time. Why don't you plug tomorrow's video?
All right. So yeah, tomorrow is the final day and it is about getting involved. So it's just a video highlighting all the different ways that you can get involved. So it talks about Camp Oasis and a couple of the other fundraisers and stuff that Crohn's and Colitis Foundation do. And I think that's it. That's it. And then the playlist is listed in the description if you missed anything. And then Barrett's channel and Barrett's playlist is also down there. So check that out.
Yeah, go check out the things. We appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
And giving us so many great questions and having the great talk. We we were not sure what we were going to talk about because we didn't get a lot of questions on Instagram, but we appreciate you for showing up and all the great questions. Nana, Eva, Margaret, Crow, Cecilia, Tiffany, Justin. Who am I forgetting? Who else popped in here? Oh, the sisters, Nicole and Lauren.
Yes.
The sisters. I'm sure they don't want me being like the sisters, but Lauren and Nicole. And then if I forgot you, and you, Shannon, if anybody popped in and I forgot you, I love you. We appreciate you for being here. And if you donated, extra thank you. It's not expected, but we appreciate it. And we think the world of all of you. So thank you.
Yeah. Can you plug the donation link that, yes.
So the link is on my Instagram. So at Barrett_Laurie on Instagram. It's also on my Facebook page. Any donations to either of the, I mean, y'all, I'm going to get her to get the whole 1,000. Let's be real. But she is saying that she'll match everything up to 1,000. So far, between the two, we've those two fundraisers, and I'm including Morgan's in that too. We're at about $620. So we're close. We're not far. So, and then, here's the thing. If Mom gives the money, I can probably guilt trip some other people, family into it too. So we'll just see.
Yeah. And then Bear's Instagram and everything is linked in the description.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. Thank you all so much. Cecilia, thank you. We'll be looking for your video tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I will get over there and check it out. And thank you. Yes. Thank you, Shannon. It's been an amazing series. I've cried multiple times while watching them.
I cried while reading comments.
Yeah.
So just thank you for the support, everybody.
Totally.
Because it's been awesome. Because like I said, you feel invisible. People in your real life don't listen. So I don't know. It's been fun. I'm glad I did the series.
You're an amazing community. I cannot thank you all enough for coming and hanging out with us. And you'll probably see us next year. We'll probably do something similar, just like this.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Nana, thank you so much for all the questions. Oh, Friday. Okay. Sorry. I was rushing you. I'll see you Friday. I'll get over there Friday. Deal.
All right. I think that is it. We're going to wrap it up. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It was awesome. And we will talk to you all next time. So
you're all wonderful and I love you.
Bye. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.